Hey, how's everybody doing? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to this week's live RGV Aerial Photography's deep dive into images that he captured on the ground this week at Starbase, Texas. We have Maurizio himself, plus Golden Boy and Grandpa Joe to guide us through all the latest updates, changes, and theories from Starbase, Texas. Hey Maurizio, how are you?
Sorry, guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our our episode 5 of Starbase Photography Review. Sorry about that. Got a little technical issue here on my end. Grandpa Joe, you there?
Hey, Mauricio, it's Grandpa Joe. Hear you great, sir. You're coming through fine. Man, what a week for ground photos. You really went out there and got up close and personal, and we are excited to cover, especially the updates with the launch table. But out at the build site, there's a lot of exciting things coming up this week. Saw some new things being built, and can't wait to cover those with you and Golden Boy, Mr. CSI Starbase.
Well, hello there. Welcome, guys. Grandpa Joe and Mauricio, how are you guys doing?
Doing great. Excited for another live stream.
I heard you say something about a launch mount. I was a little bit late. I had to take care of a few things before I sat down. I think you said the magic word, though, and summoned me.
Yep, I always know how to get you to the table. Speaking of tables, man, Mauricio, did you jump over the fence and climb under to get those pictures, or how'd you get such great photos this week?
Well, there's I've always wanted to get that close, but it's kind of hard because of depends. It's right past the dunes, and I got these photos about 20 to 30 feet from the no trespassing sign. So it's images I've never gotten before, and I think they were worth it this time.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I'd have to agree.
And all
And
of your images are worth it, by the way. Hi,
Absolutely.
gents.
This
Had to
week
jump
was
in here and say
wonderful.
hi. It's Indian Star.
Hey, everybody give a warm welcome to Indian Stars, key member of our production team. Helps us out with reading questions and so much behind the scenes. Thank you, Indian Star, for joining us.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you for having me. I heard there's something happening with Starship as we speak. Did you hear that?
I had a feeling that would happen, and I'm gonna pretend it's not happening. I'm imagining it's probably getting taken off the test stand right now, most likely. Which, yeah, I mean, they've kind of been hooking it up. You can even see in this picture right here that they were hooking it up to the LR 11,000 crane that SpaceX owns, and they disconnected it this morning, and it appears that they've reconnected it and may actually be in the process of taking it off right now. But I'm not going to look because I'm trying to stay focused and present with you guys. So don't put it in the comments. I don't want to know. Actually, yeah, put it in the no. If you guys put it in the comments, that means you're watching both, and I appreciate that. You know, you're gonna miss out if you leave just to watch Starship get on the launch mount. I'll tell you that.
That's why multiple screens are always better than one.
Agreed. So, shall we hop in?
Let's
Absolutely.
do it.
Cool.
So, yep, we have a great overview picture driving up Highway 4 towards the site. You can see the whole site all in one go here. We have the old starships waiting for decommissioning off to the left. The brand new wide bay going up. It's under construction now. To the right of that, you have the high bay, the mid bay, and then off to the far right, you have the launch facility with 20 being lifted, booster 4, and then the orbital launch farm and the orbital launch tower.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. What was that, Mauricio?
oh yes. So I just wanted to jump in here and let you guys know this was initially planned for flyover. When I took these photos, I'm not sure we talked about when they were taken. They were taken on 2 days ago on January 20th of basically 2 days ago. I had planned the flyover, and as you can see in these photos, the weather was not good at all
You wouldn't
for a
have
flyover.
you wouldn't have taken any pictures except for pretty clouds, and that'd be about it this week.
That's actually not too bad. I've been above the clouds. It's just, for my purpose, I'd like to see the site. It is. I don't know if anybody's flown above the clouds or, it's pretty peaceful up there.
I think there's a lot of people in our audience who haven't even been on planes before, to tell you the truth.
And yet I bet they've all flown
Let's
above the
get
clouds, flown above the
let's
clouds at some
get a
point.
hands up from everybody who hasn't been on a plane in the audience.
Especially a small plane with the window open. Mauricio is taking donations for a new jacket.
So you usually have to hold your camera outside the window, right?
Right. So I have a process that I do. Obviously I secure the camera to myself with the harness, and I've seen too many videos of people, dropping stuff from airplanes, cell phones, so forth. So yeah, safety is my number one concern when I'm out there. But it gets really cold, so extremely cold out there, especially at 11,000 feet, 10,800 feet that we fly at. It gets pretty bad.
And so, do you just use the neck strap?
I use several backups. There's one that I usually use on the lens itself, and depends if I have the other one, I might attach it to the camera itself, the camera body. So, both items are secure. And well, yeah, that's my setup for aerial photography.
Yeah, I think when I think about you holding that camera out the window, it kind of reminds me of my last trip to Starbase. I think I was standing next to Bob, aka Philakid, who's a commentator over for Lab Padre. Shout out to Philakid. I was standing next to him. We were talking, and my camera literally just fell off my neck and onto the ground. And I was so confused. Both straps came out. I just didn't secure them properly, so I can only imagine if that would have happened if I was on the plane. It would have just been. All right, Mauricio, let's just turn around.
At 11,000 feet, that's just a new camera at that point.
Dive,
Uh,
dive, dive. I'll catch it
Battlefield.
like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I just want to know how you keep your hands warm. My hands would be frozen up at 100 plus miles an hour and 11,000 feet.
Yeah, it's I use gloves for this. I use fingerless gloves. They're I don't know, my wife got them for me. They're you can I guess people use them when they're in the snow to use their smartphones. That's what I use.
Awesome. It's
And
a
also a face mask as well. I use a covering over my face to avoid the wind. It gets pretty bad. I mean, my hands do get kind of numb, when I'm up there, even with the gloves on.
wow. All right, let's drive on up to Starbase and see what's cooking.
While you drive, did you want to recognize Dean Wiggin for his $10 donation? He says, "Thank you all for the hard work and bringing us these amazing views and commentary. Please buy Mauricio a new jacket, please."
Thank you so much, Dean. You're the best. For anybody who doesn't know, Dean is a great member of the community. He makes great models and helps out with the veteran community a lot. He's a hell of a guy. Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, we can expand on the models. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Dean actually uh, built his launch tower outside of the launch complex, and I may even have a picture of that myself. Funny story. I was talking to Starship Gazer. He had just started his live stream, and he was panning around, and I saw out of the corner of his image the edge of the tower. I was like, "Hey, what is that?" And he scrolls all the way over, and sure enough, there's Dean on the side of the road, building a launch tower right in front of the entrance to the facility.
And I love that. I believe it was Cosmic Perspective was there, and they got some great professional photos right at the time of the launch tower in front of the launch tower. It was a really great photo.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can grab it quickly.
Didn't Elon like it or comment on it or something like that? If Elon approves, then it's. I
Yeah,
think that's pretty.
agreed.
I'm not sure if he's seen it yet, but I know a lot of the SpaceX employees have, and I know they want a copy of it. That's for sure.
And we all approve.
100%.
It was actually my understanding that he gave a copy of it to one of the employees.
I think it's probably sitting in the lobby of Starbase now at the main Starbase building. What's that bunker called?
That would be
Was
Stargate.
Stargate?
Stargate. Yes.
Boom, I found it.
Boom.
Oh, wow, that didn't really transfer over that well. Well, here's the launch tower in front of the launch tower.
That's amazing.
I hope they put that logo on the top just like that, too. That's amazing. All right. And hopefully that didn't just close out my pictures. Here we go. Now we're approaching the launch site, or sorry,
And
the build site.
Sanchez.
Sanchez, yep. And
There's SN16 on the right, 15 on the left, and Booster 5 to the far left. And I hear they're thinking about attaching some covers.
yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to touch on because a lot of people are like, well, if they're installing all these protective covers on Booster 4, it's kind of a sign that they're actually going to fly it. But they're also simultaneously doing it on Booster 5 as well. And the other, actually, you can see right here, the other ones are laying on the ground. So they're just basically waiting for a crane to get back over there so they can install the rest of them. I think it's kind of one of those things where the design probably changed on the newer the newer booster. So the COPVs may potentially be larger. There may even be an additional one since you're going to have 4 extra engines. So the aero covers, most likely, in my opinion, probably changed for the next booster. So there's no sense in just holding them around when you don't really have anything to do with them. They're just taking up space, so you might as well just mount them on. So I have a feeling that's probably what's going on here, but we will see soon.
This current generation of booster, including Booster 5, only has 29 engines. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this one has 29. The one we're looking at also has 29. And the next ones that are coming up will all have 33.
And the 33 engine boosters will be Raptor 2, and that has a different mounting point, so they're not interchangeable, are they?
The mount, is that what you said?
Yeah, the mount for the Raptor engine going into the booster, it's of a different design, so it doesn't fit onto the skirt the same way.
Right. Yeah, the Raptor 2s are completely different from the Raptor 1s, so they wouldn't be able to put Raptor 2s on booster 4, 5, or 6.
Yep. And I mentioned all this to point out that they are just about flat out of Raptor 1s, and they've used all the functional ones on Booster 4. So if Booster 4 flies, or if it doesn't, Booster 5 doesn't have any engines that I think could go on it. So this may be its final resting place. However, if something tragic happens with Booster 4, Booster 5 may be up if we transfer all the engines over. But I think Booster 4 is looking about as healthy as it could be. We can only hope those engines that have been sitting out there are doing equally as well. But we'll see.
I almost missed this donation from Jim Cavett. Thank you for warm cup of coffee. Appreciate it, Jim Cavett. I think I was talking about the tower, and I almost skipped over that. So glad I caught that. We had some questions as well. The first one from Senti, and this is directed towards Mauricio. Yo, could we get the Dropbox links if y'all are still doing that? I like to follow along in class. What do you think, Mauricio?
Yes, sir. I just did that. It's done.
There you go. Super quick.
Yes. So now that we're talking about that, is I posted. If you're not a member, one of the perks that you get is you get to follow along and download the actual images, the full resolution images, and you can follow along with us.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with me like randomly zooming in and out on accident. It might be easier for you, but I don't know. By the way, for those who, I can't remember who it was that donated the 99 cents last time for me to get a new mouse. He's probably going to be disappointed because it appears that I didn't use it, but I tried, man. I really did. I even got a new photo viewer app, and I made my mouse really big. Like on my screen right now, it's actually as big as this COPV cover. But for you guys, it looks really small, and I just can't figure out. I think it's a Discord thing. So if anybody knows the solution to that, you can hit me up, and I'll give the 99 cents to you so that we can improve the viewing experience of the mouse pointer.
I'd
Exactly.
also like to point out that we have invested hundreds of dollars of IT hours into fixing this. Still to no avail.
Yeah,
But
we
go
had the
ahead,
whole team on
Mauricio.
it this morning.
Hey, Zach, just to clarify, you're using Windows 11, correct?
Yes, sir. Windows 11.
So it would be nice if anybody can figure it out on the Windows 11. I figured it out on Windows 10. Just
Yeah,
can't.
it's just a Discord problem, really. Oh, we got another donation from El Hungaro. Keep it up, RGB. You're awesome.
He is. Thank you, El Hungaro. Appreciate it.
And there is a question that says, what's your best guess when the orbital launch mount will be ready?
I think we'll save that one for when we get over there because we have some really good pictures of it. I'm excited to talk about it as well. I almost wanted to start backwards and work our way there. And I'm kind of going to move through these pictures if I don't see anything new.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot new at the Sanchez gas production facility.
On the ground. In the air, there probably is a ton of new stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and what's this? I was guessing that this was a baffle for the pipework for the inside of the booster towards the bottom. What was your guess?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. You see some holes right here for the pipework to come through. Actually, you think the pipes are coming through here, or that?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why they wouldn't have cut those out all the way. So now they're going to have to angle grind them out to get the pipes through, which may have been what they wanted to do, or this could be just resting in there, and that's just to allow a minimal amount of flow. I don't know what they're doing there. But I will say, one of the beauties of the way they're designing and building Starship is that this is all stainless steel, and it is super easy just to pull out an angle grinder and just grind right on through this, clean up the edges, and boom, you've got a production piece right there made out in the open. No $20 million grinding die required for aluminum lithium composite.
He said, so Yazada said, hey, Golden Boy, when you use your cursor to point to something, wiggle it first so that the movement helps us locate it. All right, I'm going to wiggle it. You guys are going to regret that one. I promise you. I'm going to try it, though.
And while you wiggle it,
What were you going to say after that?
nothing. I was actually just going to thank Gotham for his $40.
I can tell
He
you
says,
stopped.
thank you, RGV. Sorry, 40 rupees. My bad.
Who was that?
Gotham.
Gotham. Oh, he donated last time too. Thank you again, sir. We really appreciate that. Or ma'am, as the case may be.
Sir. Gotham is a gent's name, generally.
Thank you for the clarification.
So one thing that we have in this picture actually is a Starship transport stand. I think this may actually be the older one that they're not going to be using anymore. But in the Sanchez site, there's actually 5 or 6 of these under the newer ones under construction at the same time. We saw one of them get moved to the launch site about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago. And it's currently sitting next to Ship 20. Maybe Ship 20 is in the air right now. Maybe it's not. But the thing that I want to point out about that is the fact that they have, like I said, 5 of these under construction, only 1 that's active. So they can only have currently 1 Starship until they finish another one of those 5 remaining stands. And they only have 2 booster transport stands. And if you are an RGV patron and you look at his aerial photos and you find a booster transport stand under construction somewhere, please let me know. You can see all of our Twitter information there on the bottom of the screen, and you can DM me a picture of a huge crow, and I will eat it. I don't know how I'll eat it, but I will figure out a way.
Print it out. 3D printer.
3D printer.
And
Yeah,
what are
so
we
you have to
looking at
send an
here?
STL. This actually is... So when Booster 3 was taken off of Test Stand A, they also removed the adapter that was attaching the stand to the booster. And that adapter was welded to the bottom of Booster 3 versus using clamps like are done on the other test stand and on the orbital launch mount. So this piece right here is, we're assuming, going to be taken off of this stand. Actually, they'll probably transport the whole stand to the launch complex and then disconnect the bolts on the bottom of this and lift it off onto the test stand A. And on top of this,
Interestingly, they used a similar function with the Saturn 1B. It was the kind of like the top part of a Saturn V rocket, and they used an adapter, what they called a milk crate, to make sure that it lined up with the launch tower properly. It was kind of similar in construction to this. Interesting fact.
yeah, I'm just looking at this a little closer. I was wondering if these are the finished versions or not. I think they're missing a compression plate that goes on top of this, but I'm actually going to do a post about this later in the week. But you can kind of see there's a V cut right here, and that goes all the way around. So that's basically the lip of the booster that sits inside of this V. And once it sits in there, then the clamp comes down on top of it to hold it down. So it's a super simple clamp, but the fact is that you need them, or else you're going to have to actually weld it down.
And that doesn't work out well for launching.
No, definitely not, unless you want to take the whole stand with you, which actually would be kind of cool to see.
It could probably do it if any rocket could.
Agreed. So this is Booster 5 again. On this side of it, they haven't installed any of the COPV covers yet, but I'm assuming that will happen soon once they run out of other things to do.
good training for the new hires at the very least.
What else do we have here?
By the way, if you enjoy Starbase, highly recommend getting used to seeing a lot of cranes. It's a nice side hobby if you want to learn all about all the different moving equipment, handling equipment.
Oh, this right here is interesting. So this looks like the top of a booster. So this goes around the dome. These used to be, I think they were 5-sided or 6-sided.
6, yeah.
6-sided, yeah. Now they're just circular, and I don't know. This is inside of. This is in Sanchez, yeah, because you can see the COPV covers for Booster 5 sitting right there on the ground.
Oh wow, I missed that. I thought those were domes. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah, that's actually I was with Starship Gazer last time I was down there, and we were taking pictures near the receiving building, and we're just sitting there taking pictures, and all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "Do you see that right in front of us?" And it was huge COPV cover just like right in front of us, and we just didn't even notice it because it was just so big. When you look at it in this picture, and it's really hard to appreciate how large it is. And actually, one more thing that I wanted to point out here is a lot of us, most of us are used to seeing these pipe stands that they sit all of their transport stands on top of. This allows the SPMTs to lower down and drive away. But the other thing that they do on these staging pads is they, what are these called? Turnbuckles.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they attach these on to the ground, and that allows it to have a little bit more stability when it comes to not blowing over in the wind. This is what keeps it from tilting over. There's, I believe, 4 sets of them. There, 1, 2, 3. There may be another one there's another one on the right side, but
also of interest, you can see that they bury ahead of time from the aerial photos that they drill and then make large concrete pilings underneath where all those sit. So you can tell exactly where they're about to start parking starships by looking for the pattern of concrete on the ground. It matches those legs. So,
Hey, Grandpa
Olympus
Joel.
Mons. Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about the stands. I've noticed that they have different pilings, different number of pilings for each starship and a booster. You can differentiate them by by the number of pilings, right?
Yes, exactly. And
yeah,
on the next flyover, who knows? Maybe we'll see a couple more pilings being driven for the next booster and the next starship to be parked out there.
So I don't know if they actually drive any pilings into the ground. I think it's just a really thick concrete pad, so it's usually about 4 to 6 feet thick, and then they put essentially pipe stands, the same pipe stands that they sit the booster on, or the transport stand on top of. They basically put those inside of the concrete form, and then they pour the concrete around those, and that gives them a surface to weld the brackets to. So they're actually considered an embed, a concrete embed, which is basically what they do in any concrete structure. They put all the formwork up, and then they put the metal panels on the inside of it, pour the concrete, and then when they remove all of the wood, I want to call it scaffolding, but that's not the word. The formwork, sorry.
Rebar.
With the formwork, when you remove the formwork, you're left with that like a metal plate on the side of your concrete wall, and that allows you to weld a beam directly to the wall. And
That's very specific, and I'm sure Philakid Bob is very glad that you were, because I was probably driving him nuts calling it pilings.
I know he was going to assassinate you later, so I just wanted to make sure that I could prevent that. But
I believe the word is casings.
Casings
Right.
for
Right, because pilings is what they use at the orbital launch mount. Those are pilings.
yeah, exactly.
I-
And even those ones, the piling, I believe, is if you slide a full I'm getting this one wrong. I think the actual word is caisson for those, but we don't need to have to be all about semantics right now or sounding like some super nerds. So
we are reviewing rockets, so
exactly. So as you guys can see here, they're currently preparing what we now know is called was it called this before, Olympus Mons?
Yes, it has. I think that sign's been there. That was, if you look below it says Airstream Park. That's what they named the Airstream Park.
Yeah, so what they're doing here is preparing the ground for that, and they got a bunch of turf over here.
Well, they removed the Airstreams from there, so I'm not sure what they're working on right now.
Well, from the aerial shots, it's kind of hard to see right now, but they've created a couple paths through here for sidewalks, and then this turf is going to go over it, over most of it, with the pathways through it, and then they'll bring the Airstreams back over here and create that Airstream Park.
So it'll be a great little area for cabins, Airstreams, and
no, it's not a great area at all. Like, why would you want to be right behind the wide bay? You know what I mean? Like, we've all seen that EDA video where he did the tour of Starbase, and I would not want to be living behind this structure. Absolutely not. You would just hear beeping all day long and banging on stainless steel, and yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
I think I could live there. Plus, it helps if you're working 18 hours a day. The 4 hours a day you do get to sleep, well, doesn't matter where it is, and the closer to work, the better.
You know, I think Zach touched a pretty good point on that about the noise levels there at Starbase. I've been out there and it's always noisy. Does anybody know if Airstreams are soundproof to a certain extent?
No, they are not.
No. Yeah.
Maybe they got them all upfitted.
Yeah, remanufactured. And you know what helps with that? Our donations. And so we want to also thank the donation from Alan, who gave $2 to help you out, RGV, when you do your flyovers. Thank you so much, Alan. We really, really appreciate it.
I think we had a few questions as well, too, regarding the pilot. Keith Tay asked, Mauricio, do you always have the same pilot for every flyover?
No, we don't. For the most part, we do. We stay consistent with one pilot. But if that pilot is unavailable or they're out of town, in that event, we sometimes use a different pilot. It all depends on availability.
And I've heard that you might be trying to become a pilot yourself as well. Is that how's the flying lessons going?
Oh, they're going pretty good. I took a break these past 2 weeks just because of the weather and availability. Typically, you want to learn in good weather. So right now, it's the worst type of weather to learn.
So is your plan to fly inverted and then use your camera to take pictures so that you could just do both at the same time?
That's extremely difficult to do.
I don't know. I've seen the Blue Angels, man. They pulled it off.
We have,
You just got to train harder.
Probably in a fighter jet, but
Top
in the
Gun.
Cessna 172, it's a different story.
We'll start the GoFundMe for the fighter jet later.
First, we got to get him trained up.
That's right.
I just wanted to welcome everybody who just joined us, actually, because I noticed that a lot of people just hopped in here. So hello to everybody who just joined us. And just so that everybody knows, if you weren't aware before, we're clearly going through the ground photos. There was a lot of clouds in the sky this week, so it wasn't a good time for Mauricio to do a flyover. So instead, he got out there and did some ground shots. So we had something to talk about. So thank you, Mauricio, for doing that. Not
just regular ground shots. He took phenomenal ground shots, like can't be missed ground shots.
We're about to get to him.
Yeah. And y'all don't even know how humble Mauricio is. He's like, oh, I'll just go out and try to take a couple of pictures. I did it in like 10 minutes. And then we come and they're just amazing and always exciting to see.
I was kind of disappointed at first. I was like, 10 minutes. I was like, dang, guess we'll have a 10-minute show.
It was so funny.
That I saw him. I was like, why do you undersell everything all the time?
He's humble, unlike us.
Mauricio's a smart man. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
I always tend to want to over deliver and just keep my patrons and members happy.
Well, I know
I'm
I
never.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm just never satisfied. I guess you could put it that way.
All right, what are we looking at here, Zach?
So it looks like the balcony on a high bay is coming along pretty well. They got some glass paneling on the side of it. That is a really cool balcony.
Hey
So
guys,
now,
so Elon planned on putting a 360-degree bar up there. Is a balcony a good idea for a bar?
A
On the
glass
top of high
balcony
bay?
at the. You know what? Why not? It's a great idea. What could go wrong?
I don't know. I have a balcony, and sometimes I'm surprised that I haven't ruined that. Like that privilege of having it. It's kind of risky at times, especially when you're in a building like this. But
And on the
know,
top floor? And
I'd like
why I
to
always
believe
ask
they're
you to
holding
strap in?
themselves together. Yeah.
Yep, but you can't beat the view. And let me tell you, I can just see it now. Elon running out there right after the first successful launch. I mean, well, I don't know. Could he be there in that building for the launch?
Highly doubt that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be in there.
I'd risk it, but I'm crazy like that.
So is this ship 21's nose cone, I believe?
Yeah. So the last time we talked about this, we were thinking it was ship 21's nose cone, but it might be shifting over to be the nose cone for ship 22. Ship 21 had a lot of problems, and in the next pictures, we'll kind of go over that.
I changed my mind. I don't like this app. It's like making it hard for me to just scroll through pictures easily. I got to zoom all the way out every time. We're going to get better, guys. I promise.
That's a good thing.
The good thing also about this is that the nose cone looks relatively good. I remember seeing a bunch of cracked tiles. I don't think it's on this image.
That was on the straight part of the ship 21, and the nose cone looks good though.
Yeah, not the ooh.
So there's some attachment points.
Why
and-
does the flaps look so much better than everything else?
They look like snakeskin.
I think it's because they have so much backing underneath the skin that it allows a good solid flat surface to adhere everything to. Also, they're gluing a lot of the wings rather than using the pins. Maybe the pins are just adding some variability there.
The heat tiles are considerably smaller, right? And on the nose cone, about 50% probably.
They have a
And
whole bunch of
these?
different size tiles on the nose cone. So they kind of changed. These ones actually look like they're the standard size though. They're curved on this backside, but the ones on the actual flap on the flat side are most likely the standard size. I
And
could be wrong about that.
these are about the size of a dinner plate. It really is amazing the scale.
So does that mean T-minus Liv's photos, her paintings, are they the actual size of these hexagon heat shield tiles?
I think we would have to ask her. I don't know. Is she in the chat right now?
Don't you have one?
Do we have a link for those? Are we able to post that link?
Definitely. I'll find it. Go ahead.
So yeah, I think she said that they're 12 inches, 10 or 12 inches. And I'm not sure the exact dimension on these ones. I think I'm not even going to guess because I'm probably going to get it wrong. Come on. We'll go to the next one. Here we go. Got another flap down there. Andes, are you able to post that in the chat, or do we need
I shall
one of the
post it
mods
in
do
the
that?
chat, sir.
Very nice. I didn't know you could post links in chat. How come I can't do that?
Well, we'll find out. Otherwise, Rohan will tell me I did it wrong.
So here we go. We're starting to see the cracks on the body of ship 21. All of these tiles, the underlying metal has either flexed while it was being lifted or moved, and we're seeing just a high percentage of cracks here. So if they continue on with this ship, it may have just been a bad design where it didn't have enough structure behind the tiles, and they've discovered that they need to add more stringers, more stability. But yeah, as is, these tiles all have to be reworked. If they were to go to orbit with these, it would be toast.
Just to confirm, you said continue on with this ship, right?
Yeah, if they were.
Okay.
But once again, this ship was built with Raptor 1s in mind. They are fresh out of Raptor 1s. They have gone full force on with Raptor 2s. And they really stopped working on these months ago and haven't progressed much at all. So it's pretty clear they're just moving full steam ahead with the next generation of ship that works seamlessly with the Raptor 2. It's got the right mounting plates.
I think your accent, like every time you say the word ship, it just sounds like something else. So that's why I was confused at first.
I will very clearly pronounce ship.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
Go ahead, Mauricio.
oh, hey, Grandpa Joe. Since you're talking about the T-tiles being cracked and damaged while moving, what about ship 20s when they do static fires? I assume that the force that it puts on the ship when it shakes it around, whatever, and we don't lose that many heat tiles on ship 20. Does that mean that ship 20's design of the heat tiles is better placed, or?
Well, ship 20 is pressurized, whereas this one is unpressurized. And ship 20 did lose quite a few tiles that had to be reworked. I remember seeing red and green tape all over ship 20 where they were fixing it. So ship 20 had the same design and it had the same problems. It's just that this time I think they're saying it's just not worth the effort to fix a bad design, a bad ship that doesn't have a lot of testing merits. And I'm kind of just suspecting they're gonna either maybe finish building it as a test fit and then put it out to pasture, or they're going to just take it out and set it next to 15 and 16 off in the Sanchez site.
If anybody's wondering, this happened after Austin Bernard started working there. So don't be sending him hate mail. This wasn't him, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, his tiles are all the ones that didn't crack.
Yes, that's what I was told as well. But they're on ship 22. Wow.
Ooh. So underneath that tile, that's interesting. So they have what appears to be netting and some white fabric. And
Which we call kale wool.
high temperature fabric. Won't last long if the tile goes away, I don't think, though.
You said kale wool?
Yes.
It sounds like you have personal firsthand experience working with these.
No. I just remember when we went over it, I was kale wool. I mean, kale wool. I don't hang on to a lot from all the conversations we have, but there are certain things.
I was excited. I thought we were in for a story right there.
Oh, I wish I had one. I can make one up, but it wouldn't be very good.
It's okay. We don't I can handle the rumors and story making.
I'll leave it to you then, sir.
Mauricio really likes ship 21. He got some great pictures of it.
There is a question in chat that was asking, have we seen signs of ship 21?
22?
This is it.
Oh,
20
it was 22.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know. I usually pay attention mostly to the launch site and just general construction stuff, at least until that's complete. And
What?
I let everybody else handle the Starship stuff. I don't know. I'm a stage 0 guy.
I mean, stage 0 is so much more interesting. Yeah, having hung out with you and learning so much from you, it really is. It's almost more interesting than the ships themselves. The ships, though, ships are the attractive part. They launch, they move fast, but stage 0 is just so complex and so integral to the operations. It's really innovative.
Hey, really quick, I just not sure if people like this content or not. You know, there's only 41 likes on it. There's 371. Confused.
Oh, no. We'll have to try harder. That's all I can think of.
So that's just a reminder, folks, to make sure you hit that like button in front of you on YouTube. And also, a special thanks to Jacqueline for her donation of €5. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thanks, Jacqueline.
Is that Jay Quellen?
That is Jay Quellen, the infamous Jay Quellen.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Jay Quellen. Good to see you
Hey.
here. And I was wrong, guys. There's actually 157. I had to update my stream, but that's still
We're at 169, my friend. 189.
you guys are the best. Thank you.
Hey guys, right now we're in episode 5. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but what are we doing for episode 100? Are you gonna be doing one of those 8-hour live streams or?
We're gonna be hosting Elon so that he can not have to go to Starbase anymore. We'll just give him the review on what happened out there that week, so we can
Woo-woo.
focus on the other stuff he has going on.
We
I think
could be
that's a
his Sam
solid
Patel.
plan.
No, we'll have Sam Patel on a few weeks before that.
Yep, Sam can be the hype man for Elon coming out. I think that'll work out well.
The hype man.
Pretty good at it.
You that's what we do.
By the way,
Indeed.
for anyone who doesn't know, Sam Patel is the Starbase operations manager. He runs a large part of Starbase while Elon is off running Tesla and the other companies. Oh my goodness! Look at all those cracked tiles.
Wait,
That's
are
a
they
good-
cracks or it looks like markers though?
Yeah, I don't know that they're all cracked.
I have seen some close-up pictures where it looks like they were indeed cracked. But this is really good photos.
You know who took them, right?
Who took
Mauricio
these
from
great
RTV Photos.
You know what, Mauricio? You're all right. I don't care what Indian Star says about you.
How dare
All
you?
right.
He said, "All right."
Okay.
And that's what we think of you, GPJ.
So this picture right here, and I believe that says "Do not scrap." Yeah. Oh, there's the "Do not" right above it.
Consider it scrapped, because if I was driving the forklift, it's over for this ring.
So
I still
stay
don't
on
see
this
the "do
picture
not."
for a sec. Yeah.
What was that?
I wanted to point out just how massive this thing is. That blue United Rentals forklift, it's pretty big. It's like a large car. And when you compare that, it's in front of and this dome, and oh my God, it's just massive. I mean, I've been looking at this for years now, and it's still, the scale is just crazy. I mean, I'm still excited about this.
This truck right here may have been a lot more recognizable as far as scale goes for people, but teach his
Yeah, but
own.
The truck's way closer.
Touche.
And out of frame.
Oh, looks
there-
like
There you go. There's a much more in frame. Is that a booster thrust puck?
yeah. So
It is
you can
big
see
thrust puck.
one of the big differences with these is that on the older thrust puck, they actually had plates welded onto it or attached to it for mounting the Raptors, but now they've recessed it into the actual thrust puck itself, which is one of the major changes, other than the fact that there's also 4 additional engines that have to be considered on this plate.
Yeah. Less parts, less mounting, better accuracy. That should be a good design all the way around.
And so what's the total count on that thrust puck, are we saying?
13. Yeah, so you have 20 engines on the outer ring, and then you have 13 engines. 13 engines on this thrust puck.
So
thrust puck 5 times fast. I can't do it. Thrust puck.
the ring on the dome there, is that the same style of ring that we saw earlier at the Sanchez site?
Exactly. So this right here is booster 8, which is already being in the process of about to be sleeved. I don't know why, because they can't stack it. So
Why can't they stack it?
Oh, we mentioned that a little bit before about just not having another transport stand.
Oh, yep.
Unless they launch something like, as long as I personally think that they need to scrap Booster 5 ASAP because it's just a waste of a transport stand.
Or they could build another transport stand over at the ground support building.
You're attached to Booster 5 or what?
No. Booster 5. It never flew, never tried to fly. Booster 4. That's my bay.
That's
You
your
know.
bay?
You're really not sounding like a grandpa right now. My grandpa never says stuff like that.
I learned that from watching the TikToks with my grandkids.
Do you even have grandkids?
Do you
No,
even
not
have a
yet.
TikTok?
Yes, I do. That's
Wow.
private. We won't go into that.
10-4. So what do we have here? We have
Booster 7.
Booster 7 in that.
Mauricio, this one's on you. You got to take over for us here. Save us, Mauricio. You're our only hope.
All right, here we come.
So here I come.
He's Mighty Mouse.
So yeah, I think this is Booster 7 in the high bay, right? And this is the LOX tank, which is the lower tank, and behind it is okay. That's new.
Are you sure that's not Booster 20? I mean, that's Starship 22?
It could be, but the stringers.
No, that's Booster 7.
Okay. Right, go up a little bit.
Yeah, because this is the bridge crane right here.
Yeah.
I've never seen this load spreader, actually. I don't think. It must be lifting something new in there.
What could it be?
I believe our friend, the Sentinel Cam watcher, Mouser, saw that going in, I would like to say.
Yeah, we did see them move, and we thought it was the methane section, but it may have actually been a 4-ring section or the 5-ring section for the Starship.
The new
nose
5-ring
cone.
section?
Yeah, that they moved in there, but he would know better than I do. B7 forward stack. I don't know. Saw some videos that made me think differently. Sam Miller says it's B7 forward stack. You know what's
Why are
crazy?
ring watchers silently crying?
Oh, they are. I'm surprised they're not
What
like
did you do?
blowing up my DMs. That is not what it is.
Tell him.
That is the MX7 ring stack of. No.
What?
There have been some
Is
technical
this
issues.
wind damage?
Has
I
to
believe
be.
that's crane damage, isn't it?
I think this is wind
No.
damage.
Yeah.
The winds were pretty bad that particular day when I was out there.
They're going to
So,
have to replace all that.
It's SpaceX. They'll just patch over it.
Buy another one.
No, they have grandmas sewing them in the background.
Oh, is that what they do in this tent?
Mm-hmm. Not supposed to know, though. It's how we save money.
Gotcha.
Fleets of grandmas getting us to space. Up next, space.
I've always been wondering what's in here.
Fleets.
What is that?
Looks very Star Wars, doesn't it?
Somebody who knows what this is, DM me. I'm trying to know.
Or put it in chat so we can all know.
I'm going to speed through these because I'm getting anxious about the launch site. And we're here. Okay, I guess I don't have to speed. This is ship 20.
And they, I heard they were hooking this up to the temporary line. So is that running down there?
Look at this.
Oh, man. So these pipes have been covered and like this since the days of SN3, haven't they?
So that burnt marshmallow look is because of what?
Raptors on the loose.
Is it really?
Yeah, fire damage.
Nice. There is a question about COPVs. Mr. Anderson's asking, what's the job of a COPV? And is booster not autogenously pressurized?
It is. So a COPV, for those who don't know, is a compression over pressure vessel. It's basically a giant scuba tank with a lot of carbon fiber wrapped around tightly and glued so it can have very, very high pressures. It's full of a mixture of high pressure gases or possibly cryogenic liquids. And its job is to deliver high pressure to different Starship systems, either for spin up or engine start. And while there is space within the main tanks, and there is a pressure of 6 atmospheres. 6 atmospheres is not enough to spin start the engines. For that, you need much higher pressures, which can get into the, I believe, hundreds of atmospheres for the COPVs. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
You're asking me?
yeah.
I don't do math when I'm not at work, bro.
He's definitely
So,
not asking me.
Yeah.
you can, one way or the other, you can have much higher pressures within the COPVs, which is required to start the engines. And what's called the ullage, which is from the French wine bottle manufacturing, the little bit of air left at the top.
That's what that's from?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's ullage. So I learned that at the NASA Stennis Center while studying the Saturn V, actually.
Can you say it one more time?
Ullage?
No, that's not how you said it.
Dennis Center.
Ullage.
I'll have you say it every time for me because I'm never going to have that accent.
But yes, so there is ullage and there is space, but it's at 6 bar at most, not at hundreds of bars. So that was my answer.
Mr. Anderson's also asking, are the COPVs only used during engine start?
Yeah, so they're used during engine start. They also may still be used for the thrust vector controls. I believe those are pneumatically controlled. So some of them are used for that, and some of them are used for. They most likely have helium, potentially gaseous oxygen, and potentially gaseous methane, but they may not. I'm actually not sure on those ones, to tell you the truth. That those are components of starting up a Raptor engine, so it only makes sense that they would hold gaseous forms of those on the vehicle, or else they would have to have something to constantly be topping off those tanks, or to top them off before launch, like something within the vehicle to vaporize the liquid oxygen and gaseous or liquid methane and turn them into a gas and fill up the tank. That would just add extra weight. So ideally, you would want to do that from the outside, which some of these are probably, one of these, I bet, is for the COPVs.
And are we, sorry.
Go ahead.
Please. I was just going to say, Clinton Hunter was adding, he thought that the launch table provided the spin start for booster. So not only would the COPVs work for those engines, but it's true that the launch table will do a spin start, correct?
So the launch table is responsible for starting up the outer 20 engines, and then the inner 9 or 13 get started by the booster.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we got to save all the launch table talk for whenever we get there.
Yeah, it's a partnership, though. So one thing I wanted to mention here is partially, in my opinion, why I don't think that they're truly preparing this ship for flying is that they haven't started covering up all this. And I don't know, it's up for debate. Some people think that they can fly with it looking like this. I personally don't. With the amount of heat that they're going to be having hurling over the front flap of the flap on reentry. Yet, yes, this is a relatively lower heat zone because they don't need these thermal TPS tiles, but it's still going to be hot, and you're still going to have a lot of airflow coming over it. Personally, I would do this over everything that is electronic at minimum.
Would it be considered like molten
may
lava?
Not actually be.
GP?
I mean, more like plasma.
Okay.
Which is arguably hotter than lava, I think. I don't know, though.
It's about 10,000 Celsius or so. So they do have other rockets that launch that do have that going down the side of it. That said, those rockets don't come in from orbital reentry. The shuttle, for instance, did not have any of this, nor does the Dragon. So you are correct that this would be the first time that something of this design came in successfully from orbital velocity. A booster comes in at much lower velocity. You're talking a max of 2,500 Kelvin during reentry, which would not translate into nearly as high temperature in the leeward side. Leeward meaning not in the wind. Windward side is the opposite of leeward.
I'm still going to forget that.
It's okay.
You know,
I'll be
there's
here to remind you next week.
And there's a trick to it, right? So windward is the part that receives the wind, which would be the belly side down, because as it goes down, the wind goes up and it feels the wind. So windward.
Who is walking on the side of this booster with their shoes on? Why does it look like that? You don't
Why
see
do they have
all of
such
this.
large feet?
Oh, I think that's just
Just
the
like
wind.
scuff marks. It looks like somebody played a basketball game on this thing.
I think that's the wind blowing around all the man lifts. Because United Rentals, they're only so stable. So yeah, I mean, could you imagine how scary it is being up there in the wind working on this, especially when you're installing the FTS?
Yeah, for sure. I actually, have you seen this before? I just noticed that they covered up those orange. This probably happened several days or weeks ago. I just don't pay attention to the starships as much.
And what did we decide that those orange boxes were? Was that a like a wind gauge or?
I thought they were supposed to be. I've heard everything from black boxes to, yeah, like not accelerometers, but yeah, I don't know what kind of gauges. I've heard them say. I don't have an answer on that one, but black boxes kind of makes sense to me.
Flight recorders.
Flight recorders, yeah.
And sensor, right? That's what they were saying? Like a wind sensor?
Mm-hmm. You know, this is the thing that I don't understand is that they started this, but they didn't finish it. Like, to me, this is a sign that it needs to go all the way down, and they just haven't done that. I don't even know if they can do it on this ship because they may have needed to install those rails before all of this.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to know for sure is when we start to see the next ship, whether or not it has that railing on it.
Yeah, if Starship 24 has the railing, then we'll know that it'll have those air covers. But I'm not entirely convinced they need them. I think it might just work out without them. And here we have Starship 20 getting ready for a lift. This was they've since taken the shackles off, putting them back on. And who knows what they're doing right now with it.
Don't tell us. I don't think I've seen it from this angle before.
Not this close, that's for sure. Because you know why? They haven't been Mauricio's pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, these are nice. Just looking at what they used to look like. I mean, I've stood next to one of them before. I tried to take it with me, but it didn't fit in Starship Gazer's car, so I just settled for a picture. But yeah, these look way better than they used to.
Maybe not tell people that you tried to take the wing.
Well, like I said, we couldn't fit it.
So how are these wings actuated? What moves them against such high pressure as it's entering the atmosphere? I mean, that's got to be a lot of power.
Tesla motors, right?
Tesla motors and Tesla
right
batteries.
Yeah.
I think the motor's inside, and there's just a rod actuator that sticks out there and moves it in and out.
Yeah, I believe it's right here.
Yeah. And also kind of interesting to me, I just because I noticed it, they have a lot of studs right at the very bottom right, just where a lot of tiles seem to be could be going there, but haven't been.
Oh, PK to the rescue.
I think it's funny that people, the closer we get to the launch mount, the more people enter the chat.
You're saying they can feel where you're going?
Yeah.
I know what they're here
Good.
for.
Send out those vibes. Did you
We're
see
almost
Felix had
there.
also chimed in on those orange, now black?
Flight recorders and EPIRBs to locate recorders after the ship hits the water, and recorders are launched from the ship. 2 on launch, 2 on recovery. They eject them? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's what he's saying.
I like that.
So it's the flight recorder thought. Thanks,
Sounds like
PK.
you got some inside info, PK. Thank you.
He's just a very smart man with the educated guesses.
Uh-oh, he's not gonna like that you called it a guess.
Oh, sorry. That it.
Here we
All right,
are.
PK.
Oh, we just made it to the launch site. Or not the launch site, but the launch mount. I'm so excited right now.
Oh yeah,
We're
this
still
is
kind of
great.
far away from it, but one thing you can notice from this angle is the doghouse that they put over the LOX and methane and all the rest of the pipes that come out of the ground.
And they painted her brown.
Yeah,
that means that they've finished testing. There's no leaks. They've sealed it up. They've wrapped it. It's got all its cryogenic protection.
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
And
Where's
after
the raised doghouse one?
it's actually laying on the ground back here. You can see it through this these braces. There's the GSE 4 behind it, and then this is the doghouse right here. But they haven't placed it yet because it should go on this leg actually to cover the pipes on the bottom. And then I'm pretty sure that they're I wonder if we can see them. They're welding together some frames on the ground, which I believe will most likely cover up all of this pipe work. All of it.
So it'll look like the metal covers on the...
This doghouse will essentially go all the way up the leg. And there'll probably be one on this one and one on that one. And it'll go around here too.
Do you think it'll connect with the overheads somehow?
I
So the
would
whole
not
thing
be
is covered?
surprised. Yeah. Yep. I personally think they have a long way to go on this, but we'll see. I mean, there's, like I said, the pieces are laying on the ground. It looks like that's where what they're going to make with them, but we'll have to wait for Mauricio's next flyover. I wonder if he has an angle of it coming up. Man, that looks so good through here. Peekaboo. I thought these were taken off. Almost looks new to me. I have to check on that. I wonder if Max Q's watching.
Max Q is always listening and watching.
That's really creepy.
Well, in a good way. Only you would think it's creepy.
It's just the way he said it. Always watching.
That makes him like omnipotent. There we go.
Hey, Max Q said it's been there for a while, so he is watching.
Oh, we got a new member, Matteo Janella. Depends on which country you're from. Thank you for joining as an RGV flight supporter. Appreciate that. Anybody else wants to turn green today? Just hit that join button. And you're not green?
I'm Patreon, but there's no color for Patreon.
I'm green on both of my accounts, actually. I'm green on
thanks for
my Goldboy account and the CSI Starbase one. Yeah, man. You gotta get in there or get
not
out.
All of us are made of money like you.
I am not, actually. I just like to support the community for sure.
Oh, wow. All right, fine. I'll be green right now. Thank you very much.
Peer pressure.
You just called me out for being a bad friend. Can't have that.
You want me to continue to host while you handle that?
Please.
Thank you. So, Grandpa Joe, what do we got going on up here? Did we lose him? We might have lost him.
Hi, guys. It's Grandpa Joe.
Looks like he stepped away for a bit. Looks like he's muted.
That's funny. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but they installed these pads on the side of the SQD. I don't even know what you want to call this. Articulating clamp. So this whole thing, without a render, it's kind of hard to explain how it works. But essentially, it would be up against the edge of the Starship so that when it contacts it, there's a flat surface for it to hit instead of hitting one of these hard edges or something like that and puncturing the tank. So once this contacts the vehicle, I think the cameras will do a visual confirmation that it's actually in contact, and then it'll extend out, connect to the ship, and then one of the other cameras will make sure that the QD connection has been established.
GB, there's a new
I've seen
RGV flight supporter you might want to thank.
Where? Just kidding. Welcome, Indian Star, RGV's flight supporter.
Hey.
Now who's a bad friend?
Jeff Weiss. Jeff Weiss wants to know where GPJ is.
GPJ is back. Hey.
Thanks, Astro Joe.
Thank you, Indian Star, for joining our team. Max
course.
Q is gray? Wow.
How's that even possible? So I have seen a render of what it should look like, and that little face hugger thing just hops out from the top, and it curves up and over, and as it attaches.
I'm skipping through things on purpose. So right here, we have the transport stand that I mentioned probably about an hour ago. That was transported to the launch complex so that they could use it for Ship 20. So this stand is lower profile than the older ones and also has a quick disconnect connection on it. And this allows them to keep it pressurized while they're moving it, and also allows this stand and every other stand that looks like it to function as a test stand as well. Once they put it on the staging pad that's next to the launch mount or next to the berm, they can connect the quick disconnect to the fuel farm and basically do everything except for WDR, static fire, and launch. So full cryo test, pressure test, all that stuff. And just general pressurization will be done using this.
And underneath the stand, all those tires and wheels right there are the self-propelled motorized transport, SPMT. So it's got a ton of electric motors, a lot of horsepower, and it can slowly carry the ship down the road.
And
Talking
GPJ,
about-
since you're... Sorry,
Oh,
Mauricio,
no.
please.
No, I was just about to say, talking about the SPMTs going down the road. They just renovated that road just recently. It looks like it's pretty brand new. What do you guys think? Is it gonna last? Or these?
It looked like they did not put enough underlayment to truly make it a lasting proposition with starships running over it. They, in my mind, if they really wanted it to last, they would have had to dig deep, fill in all the sand with a lot of rock and concrete. And I think they went a little bit deeper this time, but probably not enough in my estimation. But I'm not a civil engineer, so it's a wild guess.
I did notice that they did widen it just a little bit. I could be wrong about that.
What do they widen?
That will
The road
Highway
just a little
4.
bit.
Oh yeah, they widened it because in the PA report they mentioned having pull-off areas. So basically, as the SPMTs are transporting things down the highway, they can pull off to the side of the road and allow traffic to go around them in order to reduce the amount of traffic jams that they have.
Wow,
And
that's
they
gonna be
do have a lot-
interesting.
Being
It
able
is,
to drive
yeah.
right past the Starship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't you do that now, too, unofficially, officially?
Yeah, but you want to do it when it's on the road. That's way cooler.
Oh, I mean, anytime near a starship is beyond cool.
There's levels.
I just have to hit the first one, then we could talk about levels.
You're right. We got to get you down there.
And I'd like
You're
to throw
right.
out for anyone interested in visiting Starbase, there are so many views right off the side of the road. It's really just unprecedented how much access we have to see an orbital class rocket being built mere feet away from where you can walk up and stand. So there are plenty of no trespassing signs of areas you're not supposed to go in. They're clearly marked and easy to recognize where you shouldn't be.
Which
But
is
no,
why
it's
our RGV's photos are beyond helpful for us. And
mhm.
that's why Jen Krabs' RGV flight supporter donation will help support all of that. Thank you, Jens.
Thanks, Jim.
We also had a new member, and that was. Oh, wait. That's what you just said. Okay, cool.
That is what I just said. Thanks.
You're right. You're right. I was distracted. What I was going to say was these images are definitely amazing, and I think Mauricio will agree with what I'm about to say. Another person who takes really, really great images down here is Starship Gazer, who's currently not able to go down there. He just had surgery recently. So while we definitely appreciate you guys supporting us and also hope that you continue to do so, even right now, if we get more gray members in here before the day's over, that would be amazing. Or sorry, green members. To join the channel. we could take grays too. I'll take more grays. That would be great. But also, if you guys want to support Starship Gazer while he's not able to make it out there, I mean, it's doing this stuff for a living is not easy, especially when you rely on donations and stuff like that. So anything you guys do to help will help him be able to get back out there instead of having to, I don't know, find a real job like the rest of us,
They have real jobs. They are trying to supply us with photos, and we appreciate it. Both of them. RGV,
Yeah.
Mauricio, as well as Starship Gazer.
Nobody wants to go work in an office, though.
Not when you have Boca Chica right there. Starbase.
No.
I can tell Mauricio is currently moving into the dirt area, the mud flats.
If anybody wants to donate towards getting some boots so that I don't get bitten by a snake.
Wait, there's snakes there?
Oh yeah,
I thought there
there's
were
snakes.
ticks and things.
Yeah, there's rattlesnakes. There's
Good God, man.
yeah.
Somebody please donate him some boots.
Yeah, you need some muck boots, like the ones that go all the way up to your knees, like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, something like that.
Does he have to yell backpack, backpack every time he goes into the mud marsh?
Please don't.
We
at
need to
this.
get you some of the Cajun white boots.
Ooh, we got another camera for something.
Is that a
Oh,
camera
Johnny
or is
Five's
that
alive.
It looks like it's mounted to something, like they're going to put it somewhere. Oh my God, this would be amazing if they put that on. You know where this needs to go? It needs to go. Right here.
We all took your Dramadol.
Right here.
Dramamine.
Right on the top of this is where they need to put that camera, Elon, so that when we get the first launch and also the first landing, we get to see that view. We'll donate some of our proceeds towards that if you can make it happen. Thanks. And just to confirm, Elon, it's this camera right here.
I agree
so
with Indian Star. Johnny Five is alive. So what are
Right?
these? What are these fingernails we're looking at?
Yeah, they do definitely look like fingernail extensions. Before I talk about that really quick, we have a donation from John Boy for the boot fund. Mauricio, getting one step closer. Astro Joe, $4.20 for boots. Thank you, Astro Jen, who gave him permission to do that.
She had to sell a lot of potatoes to get that money.
She doesn't sell them. She gives them away and people donate to her.
There you go.
Each potato's unique.
So while we're on that image, go back one. So one thing we were discussing earlier before the stream, there's a lot of wrinkles in the metal. It looks, like less than aerodynamic. And I had some concerns. I was like, is this a good build quality? Is this going to be okay for a launch? And Golden Boy mentioned to me, well, the top of the wings are constructed in the same way, have the same wrinkles. This should be fine. But yeah, it looks like, man, they're going to launch this to space. Yep, they definitely could. This one or one just like it.
I disagree. One of the things that I would be looking for if they do plan to launch this is for them to cover up this right here. So this is similar to the area we were talking about on the Starship, where these are basically protected wiring right here. And this booster, after stage separation, is going to do a backflip. And while it's still I'm thinking of just the thinner atmosphere, it's going to be firing its engines and then basically flying through its own exhaust plume. And that means you're going to have massive amounts of flames curling around the side of this. We've all seen it on Falcon 9 videos. You see that the flames, I mean, literally are sticking all the way out to here, curling around the vehicle. And yeah, you probably should cover these up. And
So-
until they do, in my opinion, I don't think they're trying to fly this.
So I want to point out that upon reentry, you notice how the top of every one of these things is curved to allow air to flow over it, and all the bottoms are just flat. Well, whenever it's coming in from reentry, it's getting air is blowing up that direction, so it's not nearly as aerodynamic. And maybe it doesn't have to be, but it gives me a lot of pause for concern that some wind is going to get under there and just rip all of those covers right off.
You
Sure hope
think?
not.
Yeah.
Seems
Because it's
like.
still aerodynamic. It's just not rounded.
Go ahead, Mauricio.
Oh yes, really quick here. Why does the center aero cover look smoother than the other ones?
This one right here was actually, it was the last one they brought out here, and I think it actually was for Booster 5.
May also
I
just
could
be
be
the
wrong. I
angle.
could be wrong about that. Yeah, I remember that they replaced one of these. They took it back and brought another one out here at one point.
And if you could zoom in on the box covers. So what I was saying, Indian Star, was that the air is going to be coming up from underneath whenever it's in reentry, and
Understood.
so the wind would to the smaller boxes to the left there, those would get possibly torn off if they don't have some aerodynamic protection going the other way.
Oh, I
agree
see.
with I agree with that
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
I'm with you.
One
You
really
would-
cool. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you would think that the Raptors are not aerodynamic at all when they're coming down. So I think something small like that shouldn't be too significant. I don't know.
Good point.
Well, the
Oh.
Raptors have a lot of. They're braced against a structure that's meant to withstand 500,000 pounds of thrust from each one of them. You know what I mean? So I don't. It's a little bit different. I don't think that if you put a Raptor engine on this, that it would survive. If that makes sense.
No. But that's
So,
okay.
Oh.
so
And there's an interesting side effect. Whenever they are doing a reentry of the Falcon 9, part of the reason that they fire one of the center engines or some of the center engines is it pushes the airflow away from the engines, and it actually makes a virtual aero shield that helps it cut through the air better. It's similar if you've ever seen an Olympic high diver, how they have a little bit of water breaking the surface tension. Same thing here. It's just breaking the surface tension of the air in front of it and allows it to glide through with less overheating.
I thought the
And
water piece on the divers was so that they could see where the surface of the water was from the high board. But
tell me
anyway.
I've been lied to my entire life.
I think you might have been lied to, my friend, but I'm not
That was
busting
my
any
one
bubbles.
fact.
So one cool thing you guys may not know about is on the Falcon 9, when it comes in for landing, it actually makes 3 different sonic booms, and you can actually hear them. You can hear them even better if you play it back in slow motion. But there's 3 separate sonic booms, and the reason for that is because there's 3 different transition periods, not transition periods, but transition zones or areas where the air. Okay, let's re-explain this. Where the diameter or surface area of the vehicle changes. So the first thing that's going to be going back, or transonic, is transonic when you go from hypersonic or back subsonic? Too many sonics. Anyways, the first thing that's traveling is the engine bell, and that's the same on the Falcon 9. The first sonic boom you hear is the engine bell, and the second sonic boom you hear is from the landing legs on the Falcon 9. And then the third sonic boom you hear is from the grid fins. And the Falcon 9 is a lot shorter than this vehicle, and the landing legs are a lot closer to the engines, actually. I'm not sure about that because they're so tall.
And there are no landing legs, I thought.
There aren't on here, but you have the COPV covers. So on this booster, you're going to have a sonic boom from the engines, another one from the COPV covers, and then you're also going to have one from the grid fins. But the third sonic boom is going to take longer than it does on the Falcon 9 because it's taller. So that the difference between the timing of the sonic booms is basically the change in height from here to here divided by the speed of sound. That's the difference in the pop that you hear. So then the third pop is the distance from the top of the bottom of the COPV cover to the grid fin divided by the speed of sound is the time in between the second pop and the third pop.
And you said you didn't do math when you weren't working.
Wow. I didn't do any math right there. I just gave you the formula.
That. Yeah.
No calculations.
I feel like you need a white screen. I want to see that formula.
Zach just sees the math in his head. He doesn't need to write it down. While we're on this picture, the fingernails, the aero covers that go over the outside of the rocket. A lot of folks have been wondering, wouldn't that cover up the port? How are they going to have the Raptor quick disconnect attach if it has that aero cover on? And it's I don't know that we've gotten any pictures of it, but I want to say that this aero cover ends right before the disconnect. Have you seen any pictures of that, Zach?
I'm not sure. Sorry, I was looking through the donations that I just noticed that we got. Trying to figure out which
wants
ones
Mauricio and boots. And even socks for boots. Thank you, Jeff Weiss, for your $5 donation.
I'm already shopping for boots right now. Thank you, guys.
And to your point, we have donations from Five Vanpri for $5 for your boots. We have another one for $2 for your boots. Thank you, Jim Cavett. We have £5 from Robert Pitt, who says, please continue to do these review episodes long into the future. He really appreciates the episode around the tank farm, and also #boots. And then we also have, did you mention Lily Cepeda? She or he provided a $10 donation, $9.99. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily. No, I don't think we mentioned her yet. That's the first I heard. Thanks, Lily. We appreciate that.
Gotta get some Armani boots, my friend.
Don't do that. They're going to get ruined.
Oh, well, it's a joke, yeah? If Armani made boots, it'd be an odd thing, I would think, for the mud.
I think they do. I think Kanye
for the mud.
Here, I'll send you the link for the Cajun white boots. They're the gold standard. They're all
white
you'll ever
boots
need.
are no bueno.
All right. Are they like similar? I was thinking something like rain boots, something that's waterproof and sand wouldn't get in, and hopefully
and not white.
Snake proof. Hopefully snake proof.
I'm really worried about these snakes now.
What's funny is Zach and I and many of the Lab Padre team and Tyler, we all went down there to do some cleanup on the dunes. We're all very conservation minded. And we went to pick up all the trash that is left on the beach, left by maybe some SpaceX workers, visitors, and stuff that just washes in.
Well, hold on. Let's take a step back on that one. I think a lot of it is people camping down on the beach. There is some of it that, like, yes, there's going to be trash on site and it's windy, so some of it gets blown off site. I wouldn't really say that it's like left there by them, but a lot of people do leave trash. So you can, if you're walking through the dunes, you can definitely tell where people are having a party. You'll see like 15 of the same beer can or something like that. You know what I mean? And at the same, and also it is the Gulf of Mexico, so sometimes you have trash
Right.
in the water that comes in, and during high tide it goes over the dunes and it just gets left in there. You can kind of tell where those runoff areas are sometimes when you're just walking through there.
Exactly. And it's also right at the mouth of the Rio Grande. So if any trash has ended up in there, it flows out there to the Gulf and is very likely to end up right on the beach.
Now let's go
Right.
do it in Mars. What were
Uh,
you saying, GPJ, about that? The dunes effort that
well,
you guys mentioned?
well, quick comment here. But now that we're talking about this, I was there last week and I actually saw SpaceX workers picking up a lot of SpaceX workers, over, I want to say over 20, 25 workers that were out there picking up the trash. So, I mean, SpaceX does care about the environment, and I think they're doing their part by
Oh,
keeping their area, clean.
awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That was one of the first things I tweeted at Elon was, "Hey man, can you get your guys to clean up?" I guess he listened. So glad to hear that.
You also tweeted him when Louisiana had a hard time and he helped out.
And he did. Okay, let's dive into that for a second. So I could not thank SpaceX enough. So whenever my state was impacted by a hurricane, SpaceX came through and helped us out with connectivity, and it was amazing. It was high quality internet in places where we needed it the most. It supplied towns with communications that allowed them to turn on pumps for water, electricity. I mean, it allowed emergency operations to continue and to work more in more coordinated fashions in ways we never have been able to before. I mean, we talk about this and we're all excited for, going to the moon and Mars, but oh my God, people do not realize what an absolute game changer that Starlink is going to be. And everything we're building here is going to enable Starlink, which is going to make life better on Earth. It's going to make just so much better in terms of reliability, connectivity. You can get connected anywhere. And for all the people who work from home and who are just dying to, jump in an RV and go live out in the, wherever you can take an RV and go live out in the wild, you can have high speed internet and do your job from anywhere. It's really just going to be revolutionary. And personally, I can't thank SpaceX enough. They've been absolutely wonderful.
On that note, one thing I also like to say, I won't take up too much time here. Back when the sea turtles were in trouble here and they got, it was too cold, so they got, I guess, not paralyzed, but stung. I know SpaceX donated, not donated, but they lent out some generators out to the sea
Mhm.
turtle uh, in South Padre Island to keep the tanks running, to keep the turtles alive. So that was really helpful. I don't recall anybody on SpaceX doing any press runs on that, or they just kind of got around what they were doing. And I think that was good on their part.
Wow. Yeah. What a great company. I mean, they really
Mhm.
do go above and beyond. It's amazing.
And they're making reusable rockets, so tells you right there.
That too. Who cares about that?
So what are we looking at?
We are looking at the carriage of the chopsticks. And one thing I was pointing out here while you guys were talking, I was searching the chat to see if Dave Avery is in here or not, but I don't see him. I've only noticed this for the first time that it looks like they actually do have some isolation valves right here on their hydraulic system, which is new to me. I've not seen that before, but I'm sure it was probably there for a while. Maybe actually that's probably why they have the scaffolding here. That was one of the things that they installed while they were doing that, or while it's been there. I'm really glad that this thing is actually ready to go now. I just wish it was doing something.
So when do you think they're going to start using it to lift the vehicles? Is it ready now? Has it been 100% certified, approved, and commissioned?
I wouldn't be surprised if they were doing it, if Booster 4 was moving over there right now. Hopefully it's not. One thing that I want to point out to you guys is that, well, I don't think it's fully finished yet. So once all of the commission testing is finished on the launch mount or any mechanical system, you'll see them start to wrap all of this pipe work, or at least all of the edges. Usually the transitions are left bare because that's where the welds are. So they don't cover those welds until the full commissioning test is done in case they have to do any repairs. So once the test on the launch mount, which is what we saw 2 weeks ago when the booster was up there, all of that testing to commission the launch mount is completed. So now they're starting to wrap all this stuff up. You can see it even more on the booster quick disconnect. But one thing that you should also notice is that inside the launch tower, they still haven't started doing that. They've done it a little over here, and I would not be surprised if, I know that you can actually see right here, they haven't done it on these two. And there's probably about 50 different locations in the tower where they still have to do that. And the reason they haven't is because they haven't tested the tower at all. I don't even know what stage they're at. We saw them purge something out of the bottom of the tower a few days ago. And that was the first thing I've ever seen come out of the tower. So at the very least, they maybe have potentially pressure tested it, but they haven't actually blown the whole thing out because they have to clean out the entire pipe system. So they haven't done that. They definitely haven't introduced the actual fluid to it. And they haven't done any system testing. So until all of that stuff happens, we won't see them insulate all of this and fully seal up the building. So they have these brackets on the side that are made for panels to go and seal up the entire building. We won't see that happen until they finish testing the tower. That is a major step that still needs to happen. And also installing that paneling is definitely major as well, at least on this side and the around the other side. Those two sides for sure have to be covered. You can't have engine exhaust entering this building with all of this stuff in here. Not a good idea. All of the equipment that they have at the bottom floor, you definitely don't want that.
Zach, I'd love to hear your explanation again of the commissioning process. From the factory, they make all these parts, test them there, the delivery, installation, and at each step along the way, they're testing and validating. Is this part good? Did it get delivered in good condition? Was it produced at the factory correctly?
Yeah, so this is a good picture to kind of explain that. I mean, so when you're commissioning a mechanical system, which this is, it's any pipes, ductwork, basically HVAC and plumbing, and this would be considered plumbing. It all falls under those same rules as far as commissioning goes. So the first thing that's going to happen with all of these equipment, so you have a whole bunch of valves and sensors and all those things, they would build this entire system in the factory and they would test it. And that's called a factory acceptance test. They're basically testing to make sure that these are all working correctly individually. They're reading the correct voltages, and that once they connect it as a system, it functions properly. Then they take it apart and they ship it to Starbase. And then once it gets there, they obviously install it. They connect all the pipe work. And then the very first thing they do after that, usually in a commissioning test, this is not even into the commissioning part. You're still just completing the actual mechanical assembly. So once you reach the mechanical completion, when everything is installed, after that, you start to get into the site acceptance testing, which is the same thing that you did at the factory, you do at the site to make sure that none of these components got damaged during transport. So you want to make sure that they are performing the same way that they were when you tested them the first time. And then once you confirm that that's happening, then you can start to enter the pre-commissioning process, which is doing pressure tests to make sure it holds pressure, blowing down all of these lines to clean out everything that's inside of them and purge it. And then you also want to do, did I already say pressure test? I think I did. Yes.
Sort of.
So once you've done that stuff, I can't remember if you do working fluid on that side or not. I think you also introduce, if you have any shafts or valves that are part of the system, then they actually actuate those valves as well too, or they'll turn them for the first time to make sure that they turn. And once you do that stuff, then you enter the actual commissioning phase, which is where you test the entire thing as a system. And actually, I think I skipped it. I skipped a stage because you can. So with the tank farm, you can test parts of it. Like you can do test like the left side of the tank farm, and then you could test the right side of the tank farm. But then once you enter the actual commissioning phase is when you test the entire system as a whole to make sure that the entire system functions as it's supposed to.
As part of the pre-commissioning, they have a bunker house full of valves, and they could definitely just test, turn off one valve, turn on another, just test this part, just test that part, isolate, verify, check every valve, make sure it turns on and off, and just and do that so you know exactly which component is working as planned. And then hopefully after you've done all that evaluation, you can test the whole system and everything should work happily together. But sometimes whenever you do a systems test, you've always had one valve closed out of the two. So whenever you have both open, suddenly, oh no, we don't have enough pressure and there's a problem with the system, not a problem with the individual components. And then you have to re-engineer around that. So Zach, one question I did want to ask you about this whole process, and I think you almost started to say it. There were, some things that you might have skipped. Well, what does SpaceX do differently? Do they skip steps, integrate steps together? How do they move rapidly?
They just do. I bet it's probably a commissioning engineer's nightmare working there because the normal way to do this would be to fully assemble everything, the entire tower. Your methane tanks would be fully installed. You wouldn't be delivering new methane pumps or LOX pumps that still haven't arrived. They still have up to six or eight heat exchangers that still need to be installed at some point. Usually you want to do all of that ahead of time, like at the same time, and then start your pre-commissioning process on all of it at the same time, and then do your commissioning process on all of it at the same time. But they are not doing that here. And that's because of the fact that they just have so much going on that really that's their only option. Like they would be really, really delayed if they did it the standard way. And I don't know. I'm actually thinking of something that Sam Patel said with GPJ. Was it you who said this morning? I think it was Adam actually. If the world were going to end today, like how did he put it to the crane operators?
Oh, if the world were if an asteroid was coming to hit us in the next 3 weeks, what would you do to make this happen so we could launch and save the world before that time?
Yeah, I think that is the mission statement at SpaceX, to tell you the truth. And really, if we want to get to where we want to go, that's kind of necessary. And I think that the problem is that they're doing it by themselves. They don't have as much support from the government as they should. And there could be more collaboration to make these things go more smoothly. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion on that. But
let this be the day that we said that the government is here to help and we welcome them. We are dealing with a lot of NASA contracts, a lot of military contracts, and the government will be involved helpfully. And I do want to say we have a saying in the IT industry. Don't worry about the airplane being built. We'll finish working on it while it's flying.
That
Yeah.
would make
Guys,
the Lego movie. Master
and
Builders.
I've never seen so much urgency to get to another planet. Sometimes it makes me think if Elon knows something that we don't. but but I understand what he's saying, but it's just something to think about.
Yeah, I understand that for sure.
And there should be this sense of urgency. The universe is a big place. We don't know for sure that there's not something out there. And the longer we wait, without a backup plan, the more dangerous it is for life, intelligence, the light of consciousness to continue.
Preach,
Without,
TPJ.
yeah. So we need to get a backup copy of us on Mars just in case.
Never heard it put that way, but that's pretty funny.
So since we're on the orbital launch mount, there was a question that we wanted to redirect to now, asking what's your best guess as to when the orbital launch mount will be ready?
The orbital launch mount is partially ready, but not fully. And one of the things that I was going to add about that commissioning step is that these tags that you see right here are most likely the tags that have certified these systems after commissioning. And there's probably tags all on the backside of it for all the other panels as well too. And if you go back and look at the launch mount from before the booster testing, these tags were not here. And just going to repeat it again, that was not cryo testing on the booster. It was commission testing on the launch mount.
Yes.
The booster is a test vehicle for the launch mount. That's what it's been doing this entire time. It's been sitting there waiting to be used as the test subject for the clamps, the test subject for the Raptor QDs, the test subject for the booster QD, the test subject for a full stack, the test subject for the outer 20 engine igniters, a test subject for purging the vehicle, for doing a full detank. It's a super Pathfinder.
So even if 420 never flies, it's really done a heck of a job getting everything else ready.
Yeah, we shouldn't be sad that it doesn't fly, because it did the work that needed to be done in order to make the other boosters be able to fly. You know what I mean? Pathfinder. And to answer Indian Star's the question, I personally think that we're going to see this paneling come all the way over the side to protect. I mean, like, it has to. If not, then we'll be talking about it like, after the orbital flight. Like, that was the thing that we all said. We were watching GB, and he said they needed to cover it, and they didn't. I think they're going to cover this, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be potentially they may join these, or something will actually be in between here, which would be cool if it was something water related. But we'll see on that.
And when you were going through the processes earlier, there was a question from Avenger. They're wondering, did they go through the same process on the suborbital pad?
They did, but you know where they haven't done that is, we already said that. They haven't done it on the tower at all. They haven't even started it. And
Also,
that's the other difference between the commissioning or a normal commissioning process is that I would expect that the tower and launch mount would happen at the same time, ideally, but this happening is extremely important. And in my opinion, in order to do that, they have to have a full stack in order to test this, period.
They have started flowing some fluid through the bottom there. We've seen some venting coming out, or if not fluid, at least pressurized gas. I would like to point out that the orbital launch mount is orders of magnitude more complicated. It has one massive booster disconnect and 20 of these quick disconnects, as well as having shielding. When you compare this, that right there, that one picture is just as complicated as the entire suborbital pad.
Yes.
And there are 20 of these, right?
There's 20 of them. Yeah, you're right, Grandpa Joe. I'm glad you put it that way. There's 20 quick disconnects inside of the launch mount. So these are the clamps that the booster sits on, and the Raptors hang down in between each clamp. And once they're sitting down on the clamps, these things extend out. And just like the Matrix, it like pushes into the receiving panel on the Raptor, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The jury's out on this one. It looks like it's initially we thought this was a locator pin, but now that Mauricio got this image of it, it kind of looks like this is a pipe as well too. So there's up to 7 gases going in and out. I think that this big one is an exit. It looks like an exhaust and or Raptor Chill vent line to send the Raptor Chill back into the launch table instead of pouring it out over the side of the table.
PK has a theory on what that is as well. I forgot what it was, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks it's like gaseous methane or something like that, because it also makes sense for whatever you need the most of for startup.
Hey Zach.
Yeah.
You talked about when we were looking at Booster 4, they covered up the Raptor engines. Now the QDs, how are they going to make contact with the Raptors? Is there like a slot or is there an opening that we just couldn't see from the Booster 4 picture?
You mean how these connect to it?
Right. You made a comment about I'm not sure how these are gonna.
Well,
actually, you have that picture ready?
No, I haven't.
No, I was asking Max Q because I know which one. For the first time, I know the answer, guys.
So this is the front of the panel. Oh gosh. This is a super old picture. So this is what the panel looks like from the front.
But right now there's shielding over that, right? It looks like it.
Right now, they have every time the reason it takes them so long to get this off of the launch mount is because they're first of all lifting it up off the clamps, and then they're usually going to have to cover all of these holes with I don't know what you call this film in order to stop anything from flying into your tubes. So they have to do that on all 20 engines, all 20 outer engines before they take it off the launch mount, which is going to be very interesting when it comes to automating this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like flaps or something like this that once the quick disconnect slides into it, it opens it up, like I can't even think of what that mechanism is called.
So that panel that's on the OLM that we've been talking about, that bolted panel. Oh, that has nothing to do with this. Never mind. I take it back. Please continue.
Oops. So yeah, you can see that's what this connects to. And this is going to be delivering all the gases that would normally be contained within the COPVs. You instead deliver them from the tank farm so that you don't have to have 30-something COPVs on the booster. The booster would probably look like the Mandalorian or Boba Fett carrying all those COPVs. So yeah, this is an amazing picture, and this is, in my opinion, the single most interesting part of the entire launch complex. Like,
you can read the lettering on those tags. That's how beautiful this picture is.
There's even crazier stuff in this image. So
Mauricio, you literally outdid yourself, my friend.
100%.
Hey guys, I have a question about this too. So you said there's 20 of those QDs for the Raptors. How accurate does it have to be so that every time that they move in to connect with the Raptors, that they're all going to be aligned? And do they gimbal per se so that they can adjust, or is there going to be cameras to each one of those QDs to make sure that they align correctly?
Well, so the first time that they put the booster on the launch mount, they were testing the alignment of these clamps. So they lowered it basically right above the top of the clamp. And then most likely they had to unbolt or loosen the bolts on the inside and on all of them, I'm guessing, and then sit the booster down on top and then tighten everything, something like that. And probably the same thing for this is where they sat the booster on top. This was the second time they stacked it without the Starship. They sent all the engines back to McGregor to get that quick disconnect panel installed on them. And then when they brought it back, they put it back on the launch mount, and then they tested all of these. Actually, these weren't even installed on the launch mount until after the booster came off of the launch mount the first time. So they installed the panels on the booster or on the engines, brought it back, tested this connection. That's why I say it's a pathfinder. It's a pathfinder for them to line up all of this stuff and connect it for the first time.
You also see at the bottom where it has 4 bolts where it can be adjusted against that right there as well. It could possibly be shimmed there and managed. And there
you
is
can
going to
even
be
see that this has been shimmed.
and tracking, or
For,
does that say
What does that say? Tearing?
maybe
Turning?
it says it.
tracking?
Shimmed plus tracking.
So, you know that
And
infamous water deluge conversation is coming up, right? Because there are people asking about, well, there is one question about that same sort of thing. Not David, sorry. Keith asks, is the city of Brownsville going to put in a water pipe to Boca Chica anytime soon? I mean, would we
So
see a water pipe like that for this water deluge
that
potentially?
is a very long trip from Brownsville to to Boca Chica.
the short answer is no. In the PEA, they've stated that they're going to produce their own water on site. So basically, they drill wells into the ground and pull out the brackish salt water that's down there, and they purify it. And they're already doing that at the Sanchez gas site. They have a smaller purification plant, and at some point they will have at least one more, potentially at the launch site or at the also at the Sanchez site. But having it at the launch site means that you don't have to use any trucks to deliver. You don't need trucks. You don't need pipes. You just build a well under or somewhere on the launch complex and produce your own water there and send it directly to the water tank.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir.
One of the cool things in this picture is the fact that a lot of us have been trying to figure out what was happening with this pipe for the longest time. Now we finally get to see that there is a supply for it, because we weren't able to. It looked like it's just a ring that goes around the table with no actual supply line going to it. But it turns out there is one. And I think Mauricio has some pictures from the front of the launch table. We'll actually get to compare it in a second. And this is probably the single most exciting thing that I saw out of all of these pictures. And there's tons of things happening here. So number one, in the past we've kind of assumed that these pipes were for water deluge because of the nozzle that they have on the end of them, and just the way that they come down. It looks like a fire suppression system, but the nozzles that are on here are spiral nozzles, which would create a cone spray, which really isn't that good for when you have engines hanging this low. Your engine bells are going to be somewhere way down here, if not even lower. I think they are lower, actually. They're down here at the bottom of the screen. So, where was I saying? Sorry, got distracted a little bit thinking about where the bottom of the engine bells were. Anyways, so if this was water deluge, then you would be spraying the engines directly, which means that this would be a system that doesn't activate until the engines have already cleared the launch mount, which means that you would also need that would be a secondary deluge system instead of a primary. But the thing that actually makes even more sense than that, potentially, is that this could be a nitrogen, basically a nitrogen fire suppression system. So they have these at other launch facilities where you have a buildup of methane or any of your fuel, your buildup of your gaseous fuel underneath the engine, and you don't want that to explode. And one way of preventing that from happening is by creating a nitrogen cloud underneath the launch mount. And I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if what we thought was venting from the actual booster engines was actually this system purging out nitrogen. And on top of that, you also have these ports right here on the side of the table.
Are those ports or are those mounting points?
I don't know. It's tough.
$10 million question.
It's tough. So there's brackets up here on each of these next to each clamp. So it kind of looks like they're going to mount something there still. But I mean, this could be these could be actual ports, or they could be mounting holes. You have another one right here, which doesn't exist on the other ones. But the other option could be that these are actual ports. So you have, the reason you would maybe have that is so you're already purging nitrogen down here below the engine bells, but you're not purging, like, let's say that the engine bells, the overall surface area of them, if you looked at it from the bottom, made it so you couldn't see anything up here at all. So you're basically sealing in the upper part of the launch mount with the engine bells. So if your methane is still up there, then you may need a purge inside of that area as well too. And this, in my opinion, could be that purge. And
So I would like to
also,
point out one small part of a sound suppression and energy suppression system is that as a liquid evaporates, it absorbs the energy from whatever evaporated. So if you're using water or liquid nitrogen, as it boils, it reduces the sound and the energy and the force of that exhaust. And that's just a property of physics that will help it suppress the sound and protect the equipment.
so I see a comment from Senti who says he doesn't see evidence of a nitrogen suppression system. Oh, I love those comments. All right, so let's
Now,
go.
mind you, GB, there
Yeah.
is the spiral nozzle that Max found, and he also has an image in there for the RS-25 test stands that might actually go towards what Senti is saying. But while he's looking at those things, if you
I'm trying
all
to
want
find
to,
it.
if you look in our chat, my friend, you'll see it. If you want to if you enjoy what you're seeing, go ahead and like this stream. We have over 500 people, Mauricio pointed out, and we have 384 likes. So let us know that you are enjoying it so we can make sure that these dudes come and do it again next Saturday.
Right, and if you want to download these photos, become a member. It doesn't cost too much. I think I have the first one at $2 a month, which you basically
Less than that.
get, right?
$1.99.
$1.99. All right. So you get like I would say between 5 and 6 Dropbox folders, including aerials and ground photography, downloadable, so you can just follow along with us. And another thing that we're talking about here is, we're talking about the sound suppression system. Just to give you an idea of how loud this thing's gonna be, is SpaceX is already going out to South Padre Island, which is about, what is it, about 5 miles away. There's been reports of them taking photos of the businesses around that area just to check to see what the quality of, what the damages could be after the fact. So they're expecting some broken windows in the surrounding locations. It's gonna get pretty bad. The sound's gonna be, it's supposed to get pretty loud out there.
So somebody
did,
was, sorry, go ahead.
just expanding on, like, back to what I was saying, like, I do think that this is okay. So this goes back to the bunker back here, and it curls behind the tank farm and enters the bunker. And so there are several things that are inside of there. Number one, there is several water pumps, but there's also a really big water heat exchanger. And there's also these vaporizers right here. So they potentially could be vaporizing liquid nitrogen and turning it into gaseous nitrogen and sending it through this pipe, because they do that with other gas pipes. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this one coming out of the building right here is where the Raptor LOX vent is going to come out. So instead of purging over the side of the launch table, I'm pretty sure this is where the Raptor chill venting is going to happen, behind the bunker. So you can put gases in this kind of pipe. It's truly, in my opinion, not big enough for water suppression. But on top of that, we have, wish I could cancel all these. So this, thanks to Max Q for getting this. This is the RS-25 test stand. And if you notice in this picture, up top, there actually are some, terrible zooming. Some spiral nozzles that are the exact same ones that are on the launch mount, the orbital launch mount. And I mean, this is not water deluge. This is a test stand. So I do think this right here actually might be fire suppression or foam This is probably, if I had to guess, is a foam. But this right here would be nitrogen purge most likely in order to put as much nitrogen gas in this area as possible in order to counteract any reaction from methane gas exploding.
So if the pipes are for nitrogen, Ayush asks, for nitrogen purging, then does that mean that that in the future, when there is an orbital launch, then the start of purging nitrogen means that liftoff is imminent?
They will probably start nitrogen purging the same time they start Raptor chill, if I had to guess. And the one other thing to consider about this is let's see where I'm at.
Now, while you're clicking, you keep missing the best picture, and I think Mauricio's wife was the one that pointed it out. That tile picture makes the best background.
Oh, the one on my back. That is my background.
Yeah,
That's what you see. It's his
it's
background.
mine too. It's my background at work on my computer. It's my background on my phone right now.
It's my background on my phone.
I thought we agreed that I was the only one who's going to have that.
Well, we are all an extension of you, so we're all good.
Touché.
I'm gonna let everybody have that photo here, so I'm gonna drop the Dropbox folder so everybody can download that right now.
Dang,
Just
I'll have
don't
to
use it as
change
your
mine.
phone. Yeah. There goes your uniqueness.
Can't have anything nice.
No, we
Sorry,
must all
sir.
share, my friend. When it
Somebody
comes
give
to
me an exclusive photo that nobody else can have. It's
Well, you know the right man.
Making an NFT. Actually, turn it into an NFT. I'll buy it. And then we'll have to have everybody else delete it off their computer, I think. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, once you buy it, it disappears from the internet forever.
one cool thing to point out about these pictures right here is that, so we already showed you how the pipes go under the launch mount. So the problem with this area over here is you have these huge LOX and CH4 pipes, so you can't really just go straight down and under them. So instead, they came out the back and went behind the cryo tubes and then underneath the table. But one thing else you might notice is that there's a pipe going down here, or down from the inside of the launch table through here, and it most likely it just stops. So more than likely it comes into this pipe as well too, which means that if it's water deluge, then they would be sending water to the inside of the launch mount. But sending nitrogen to the inside of the launch mount makes far more sense because of the fact that you have 20 quick disconnects that have methane at 200 bar inside of inside of these flex hoses. So the risk of explosion inside the launch mount is even greater than underneath the launch mount, in my opinion. So having a purge system inside the table makes a ton of sense.
Why is it more inside the launch mount?
Because you have you have methane, gaseous methane being fed to the inside of the launch mount at 200 bar, and the booster only holds fuel at 8 bar. So this is whatever that number is, 20 times greater, roughly, or more, pressure stored inside of these. And if any of those quick disconnects doesn't hold, or this ruptures over here for some reason, then all of a sudden you have, until that ESD, the shutdown, emergency shutdown happens, you're going to have gaseous nitrogen or gaseous methane inside of the table. So the best thing to do in that situation is to purge it. And that's why I think that this actually, the whole system is probably nitrogen.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Felix from What About It a while ago, and he was like, why do you keep talking about water deluge? I'm like, because it's right there. And he's like, there's no water deluge. I'm like, well, you're blind. I was like, I didn't say that to him. In my head, I was like, you don't know what you're talking about, Felix. But I don't know. You're probably right, Felix.
Well,
Felix,
Felix had a great idea that this whole structure is actually a water tower. So,
And gents, let's take a quick minute to thank everybody who's been donating. You have Jodhvir Kira, who donated £2. He says, I love stage 0 analysis. Good work, RGV. And then there's 4.99 euros. They're also asking if the videos can be uploaded on Odyssey. They have a really good YouTube sync feature. So maybe, Mauricio, that's something we can think about, you can think about. And
All right.
also, there are additional donations. We have new members as well. Cody Goji is a new flight member, RGV flight supporter, along with Stillwind. Welcome, Stillwind. Thank you guys all for your donations. RGV not only will get to wear boots, but he'll have socks in those boots and we'll be up in the air soon.
Let's take a vote in the chat.
What are we voting on?
Does this look like, look at its position. The engine bells will be roughly right here. Do you think this is nitrogen, or do you think they're dumping water directly onto the engines right here? I'll just wait to see what the chat says back about that one.
Can you zoom into that the nozzle at the very end? Does it look really small to you for
Water? Yeah.
well, yeah.
It's really high pressure water. You know, it's just it's a fire sprinkler, right?
It would be a mist, yeah. It would be a mist.
And
But we're
while
looking for a deluge, not a mist.
two things. While we wait for that first one, there was a question about will the exhaust damage these
These?
pipes and things?
Not if they have a lot of fluid flowing through them. They should be their own fire suppression.
And you were looking for Dave Avery. He's arrived.
Dave. Welcome, Dave. I was looking to see if there's anything that could say that they maybe would be protected, but I don't think they are. I mean, this pipe is above them, so that's a plus.
Speaking of protection, boy, they sure are missing a lot of paint.
A lot of people are saying water too.
Oh,
To
I
your
thought you were
question.
going to say they look like... Never mind. Anyways.
Whoa.
One thing
G-rated
you'll
though.
also notice here is that they've started to paint the inside of the launch mount. So they're putting all of the primer on it. We're going to get more paint.
It's going to be nice and shiny right before it gets toasty.
Seriously, just paint it black. Like, paint the whole thing black.
They're
It's already
doing
going to
the
turn black
gunmetal
anyways.
gray.
That's what the Rolling Stones would do.
Here we go. This was one thing I wanted to say. One of the last things. I think we're actually getting close to the end of this, but
We are.
so as I was saying before about the whole post-commissioning process where you wrap everything up. So the first thing they did on these flex hoses is put the this white wrap over them, and then on top of that white wrap they have this reflective one. So ideally, they should put a cover over this entire thing and also a cover going over here. And you'd still have heat radiating from the outside of the cover. But this reflective wrap is the reason why you put the reflective wrap on here is to radiate backwards or deflect the radiation, the heat radiation. Radiative heat. Wow. It's been a long time since heat transfer class. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so you only need to do this on the liquid lines. So, well, if you don't, then these are going to get frosty. But it's only necessary on the liquid lines, something that you're trying to keep cool. And so 1, 2, 3 are the ones that they need to do in order to finish this off. And I think that the moment that they have this fully wrapped up, we'll see a huge cover go over all of this. And if not, you'll never hear from me again.
Well, we don't want that to happen. We definitely want to hear from you again. And we want it so much that we have additional donations from Nielsen, PA Nielsen, donated 50 Swedish krona, and Dave Avery gave $5.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Were we ever able to get enough support up to get our likes to match? Oh wow, 453. Look at
We're
you
getting
guys.
close. You guys rock.
Well, that makes me excited to be here with you guys. It is Saturday, so thank you guys for being out here with us on a Saturday. It does take a little bit of effort to do this on Saturdays because it means I have to be GPJ is responsible Indian Star is responsible. I'm pretty sure Mauricio is responsible. He has a family. I am not. So,
You are
just
footloose
know
and
that every time
fancy-free.
I'm here with you guys at 12 in the afternoon, it means that I stayed home last night. I don't really go out that much anyways,
Wah,
honestly.
wah, wah.
Yeah.
I had to make him, guys. I had to make him go to bed last night. It would have been too late of a night for both of us.
Why were you near his bed at night?
You don't talk about that, Indian. It's
Oh.
personal.
How come you didn't invite me?
It was
Guys only?
yeah.
Shop
Anyways. It was a long conversation. So I think we're getting close to the end, but one thing that we didn't touch on, the remnants of GSE4. It's really cool because you can see where the stress failure line is. Or not the stress failure.
Where the top ripped off?
Yeah, that.
where it ripped.
Oh wow, it did have compression rings on it. I didn't know that. Huh.
That was the strap in the middle, yeah?
I don't know if it. I'm gonna have to look at older pictures. I didn't know if it had those going all the way up it.
They had
I
them
didn't think
longwise
it-
and horizontally.
Well,
Vertically
these
and
ones are welded on.
So right at the point where a vertical seam intersected with a horizontal seam, it looked like it popped there and just unzipped. Someone
I'm
had
sorry, this
some-
just in. Spoil sport, Cowboys lost. Sorry.
Oh, poor spoil sport.
Wow. You know what? On that note, thank you guys for being here. There's 480 of you, and I didn't even realize that the game was on right now because I'm enjoying myself. So, for the American crowd who's in here with us instead of watching games, we appreciate you guys.
Yay.
You're the best.
We love you because you rock.
Yeah, I didn't know
wow.
the Cowboys were playing right now. I
That's
think
okay because they just lost.
they lost.
well, didn't they play last week and they lost? Is that what they're referring
Has
to?
it been 2 weeks in a row? Tell me it's so, Mauricio. Tell me it's so.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
they
I thought
played
they lost last week.
what did they play? San Francisco last?
They lost to the 49ers. Even better. Love it.
All I know is that Spoil Sport was sad last week, and he's sad this week. So I'm gonna assume they lost both time.
He was
I
so
don't
sad
think
he
I've ever
was sick.
seen him not sad.
Aw.
His excitement sounds sad.
Only when he's talking to you, GB.
I know. He probably waits till I leaves. So one thing we wanted to point out, I think this is one of the last pictures. This is the tunnel that went underneath the berm, which has now been ripped out. If they keep this here, that may be a sign that they're going to reinstall the berm.
They're going to
If that's-
reberm us?
They may reberm us. If not,
Wow.
then it's a sign that they just won't need it at all. But I have a feeling that they will need it. So we'll see.
Because don't they need a wall near the methane tanks? The big tanks, like the GSE type tanks? Or the
Yeah, but they should only need a 6-foot wall. So ideally, I mean, they've already satisfied that. But they will most likely be adding in, no more next button. That's really sad.
Oh no.
But that's good. We did them all.
Yeah, we finally got to the end of a,
Well done, everybody.
wow, is it really? So,
We're going for ice cream after this.
hits the next button 10 times. Yeah, well, I guess that is the last of our pictures. I was excited. I thought there was more. Oh, one thing that I could point out here. When you guys saw the purging out of the launch mount during the booster testing, this is where it was coming from. So this
So
is a
they're all
purge. This is a purge
Sorry.
valve for the methane LOX side. So this is methane on the right, and then LOX is on the left. So this is the LOX purge that they use to blow down. It's basically a clean out. That they have a valve on top of it that allows them to open it up and release all the pressure or purge the whole system to open atmosphere. And yeah, I think that was one of the last things. Oh, completion tags. Boom, boom, all
Oh,
over
wow.
the place.
Look
All
at that.
over the place.
Looking good. Looking very good.
Yeah, I bet they're
Wait.
happy when they see those. That's for sure.
We are, that's for sure.
I
We have
am.
lots of
So-
questions
so
too.
now-
Can we
I bet you there's
Oh,
not a single
yeah.
one of them. Yeah.
Let's answer all the questions.
Yay! Let's do that, shall we? There was a question from Keith asking, "Did those tents come from Amazon?" I'm probably more Jeff. When we were
Jeff
looking at the ripped
Bezos
tents in
Yeah,
the
delivered them
back.
personally.
I think he was talking about the tents at the build site.
Yeah, the big white ones that were ripped.
No, they've just been through a lot. I think they were some of the first tents that they had out there, so they've seen lots of hardships.
Hey Zach,
Yes,
you
sir.
asked about inside those tents. You asked, "What are these? Does anybody know?" Put it in the comments. And they were saying that they were possibly ovens for the heat towels, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if the heat towels already come shipped.
Sounds like you guys have been listening to a lot of What About It. And on that point, I usually don't do cross promotion, but just so you guys know, Grandpa Joe and I are going to be doing a Twitter space with Felix from What About It tomorrow at noon. And hopefully Mauricio and whoever else is watching can join us. If anybody anybody wants to ask some of their favorite content creators who happen to show up questions, if you want to ask Mauricio questions, let me know ahead of time so I can force him to be there. He may try and, hang out with his family tomorrow. But if you guys want him to be there, if you guys want to join us and ask Mauricio questions along with Felix and Grandpa Joe and Indian Star and whoever else happens to show up, be on the lookout for that on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a really good venue because we get to unmute ourselves and actually ask questions ourselves. Don't have to have me read them.
Well, you never mute yourself.
Oh,
Neither do I.
you're the one that always wants me off of mute.
More importantly, I have a mute button, so I can just mute everyone, and it works out great.
We're taking that away from you, sir. The next one, you will be just like everybody else. You've been replaced. Love you. Just kidding. So more questions, yeah?
Yeah, more questions.
What do we know what the oil field workers did on site this week? Did you all notice oil field workers?
Yes. That was shown in the daily video, actually. There was the oil field service company that came. This is like the fourth time they've been in the last 2 months. I think it's just typical well servicing. They go around and they service wells all over the county. So I don't think it was anything special.
Okay.
And they have a well at the launch site that's decommissioned, and then they have a well that's at the Sanchez site. Is that correct?
Water well at the launch site, and at Sanchez, it's a gas well and 2 gas wells and 1 injection well.
Oh, and they did lease the mineral rights across the street where PadCam used to sit, and they in their environmental assessment they did say that they were going to put a gas well there as well.
Wow.
I see Ironhead's comment. He said, "Don't time it with the playoff games." Yeah, we thought about that. I think we're going to be starting at 11 a.m. Central Time, actually. Mauricio, what are you doing at 11 a.m.?
We should be good. Yeah, we should be good for 11.
I think the point is we need to stop by like 3, right? My time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can go on all day. I'm sure that somebody else might come through like last time. We did this before. We had we just started a space. It was actually, I don't know if you guys follow Latest in Space on Twitter. He posts a ton of just really awesome space related imagery. And we were doing just a conversation with him, and I don't know, there was like 100 people in there. Then all of a sudden, Mary Liz was that the day that Scott Manley showed up? Actually, Scott Manley showed up out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden there was like 600 people in there listening to Scott and getting to ask him questions. So
I brought him.
You did, huh?
I brought him. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is why we you guys make sure you give Indian Star a follow on Twitter. Her she doesn't have enough followers, and it's not representative of the work that she does here for us.
I have plenty of followers. I'm very happy to have the followers I have.
Well, she gives out a lot of good information on Twitter. So hopefully you guys follow her, and also be on the lookout for it's not down here in the comments, but there's a new Twitter profile that I noticed recently. It's called Team Space Global.
Say it again.
Team Space Global.
That's
I don't know.
cool.
We'll see what it turns out to be.
The other day.
Yeah, we'll see what that turns out to be. But
so there was a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why not paint the flight recorders bright orange? I think they were orange, right? Now they're black.
They are bright orange, but they happen to be covered right now by little black
Oh.
socks. Yep. So they
So
are.
it's not
Yeah.
paint.
I think it's just little fabric covers to keep them
Oh.
warm. Little blankets.
Fair enough. What's with the round heat tile on the aero cover? Clinton asks.
Oh, that is a Starlink relay. So that is not a heat cover. That is just a cover to allow microwaves through. It's transparent to microwave radiation, but it's a physical barrier to allow the air to flow over. And that's how it communicates to space.
Is it an array?
Yeah, it's a microwave array underneath there.
Very nice.
I
The
don't know
surface-
how steerable
sorry.
it is, but go ahead.
You don't know how terrible it is?
Steerable. The
Ah.
microwave arrays are very much, they have to be aligned with both the
Mhm.
sender and receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, the both sides are steerable where they can aim at each other. So maybe underneath there's a little bit of give to aiming.
So I just wanted to add on what I was saying just a little bit before, just so I can wrap that comment up, and also give a shout out to everybody else who came and supported us. So, like I said, Grandpa Joe and I just randomly decided to start doing Twitter Spaces last week, and the very first person to show up in that was Marcus House. So, shout out to Marcus House for coming to speak with us in that venue. And then after that, we had latest in space. Can I say that? Are we going to lose monetization?
You just said it.
I did not say it. I didn't say the last word.
Oh.
Somebody type it in the chat. It's not a that bad word. His name's Space Porn. Excellent account on Twitter. He came by, and then the next day was
Wait, I missed
Manly.
Spaceport?
Yeah, you missed Space Porn. Actually, Space Porn came with Mary Liz from Cosmic Perspective the third day.
But
so
I
it was,
heard Mary Liz. Doggone.
yeah, Space Porn was in there that day as well. Yep.
We had Mauricio and the Ring
Mauricio
Watchers
came,
together.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Ring
That was a
Watcher.
good day.
Mm-hmm. Every day's a good day with you guys. Let's be real.
Correction, we only had half of Cosmic Perspective. Ryan ditched us. No call, no show.
You got the better half, buddy. Sorry, Ryan.
So Indian Star. Oh wait,
Okay.
were you done? Were you done with the?
Yeah, sorry, I'm good.
All right.
No, I have
were
more
there
questions for you.
Yeah, I wanna go through the questions.
All
with you,
right.
buddy.
Do we know why? So District 47 asks, do we know why they didn't use a tank inside a tank to hold the CH4 and locks to eliminate the downcomer and massive dome? He says very thin inner tank in the middle since pressurized on both sides. So why not put a pipe inside of a pipe?
Because you're adding a ton of extra mass. You would have to drastically increase the size of that downcomer. You would basically have a downcomer that goes all the way to the top of the booster, except it's a tank. So instead of having a downcomer that's only the size of a LOX tank and is about a meter in diameter, you're going to have something that's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters in diameter and go all the way to the top of the booster. So you're adding a ton of extra mass if you do that.
The most efficient shape for storing materials is a sphere. So you're going to use the least amount of steel by using a
cycle.
A circle.
All right. Beaker asks,
what was that? What was that accent?
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
Terrible Boston.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was bad.
So Beaker asks, what will become of the 2 unusable CH4 GSE tanks? Or is there still a chance they can be used?
The jury's out. We don't know.
It would take a change in the rules to allow it to be used, or they would have to relocate them slightly.
Ideally, Elon will come on the show next week and explain it to us. Elon, all of our contact information is at the bottom of the screen. You can see RGB Aerials, CSI Starbase, Grandpa Joe, and Indian Star. You can hit up any of us, and we'll just
all of us
pencil you in to see if we have time to get you on the next show, and then you can talk to us about the tank farm, or we can just wait and see what happens. But
if you need to call me, Sam's got my number. Just get it from me.
It's funny because it's true too. That's hilarious. All I can say is I'm the chick you walked past on the floor that one time, and we made eye contact when I was working for you. That was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Remember me?
Then he searches through the 30,000 times in his life that's happened.
You never know how many Indian people he's met. I know he's met one, for sure.
I waved.
I could be number 2. So along the same lines of that other question, Beaker also wanted to know what was wrong with CH-4GSE. Was it proximity, pressure? Do you know?
Well, I would get into it, but it's a lot. It's a kind of a long story, and we promised our production team that we were going to not go all day. So if you watch was it the last episode or the one before that?
The first 2 episodes, I think we spent about an hour plus on each episode specifically covering that topic. So, you know what? Now might be a great time to plug that. If you're super interested in the flyover videos and in really greatly understanding with a deep dive the GSE problems, Mauricio's RGV aerial flyover review number 1 and 2 has hours of content specifically on that question. And great for a rewatch if you're up for it. If this isn't enough, we record it and you can watch it again later.
Just in case you need more GPJ and GB in your life.
And Mauricio, and yeah, send this out to your friends, guys, if you like
And
this content. I know it is kind of like a longer presentation, but you're not doing anything. It's Saturday. Let's be real.
Stop talking about yourself. Next question.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the next question, I do want to say that I do have planned to do a 10-minute recap of these 2 hours or 3-hour live streams in a 10-minute span with the help of Grandpa Joe, which is in the works. I don't know what you guys think about that. They should be posted a day or 2 after the live stream. So in case you don't have time to go through the 2 hours, there's a little recap there.
Will you also do the flyover ones? Because there was a request to do the flyover ones as well. It's a 10-minute recap.
Actually, I think the 10-minute flyovers, they're going to be obsolete at this point, and we should just upgrade the quality up for them to be commentated by Grandpa Joe. So I think they're going to be a lot better.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. Looking
I didn't
forward
even know.
to
Look
it.
at you, GPJ. So prolific.
Okay.
Or Zach. I mean, I'm not leaving out Zach. I mean, Zach, I know.
Mauricio's accepting resumes.
You know what? I have a real job. I have to. My boss might be listening, and he hears me making deals like this. Then we're gonna have to have a talk on Monday. So, sorry, Brad. Don't worry, Brad. I handled it. We're good.
Don't worry, Brad. We got your kid covered. All right.
Hey, Zach, what happened to Team Space?
Speaking of Team Space, make sure you guys add Team Space on Twitter. I'm actually about to post something right now. Just so you guys know, Mauricio is definitely part of Team Space. So are the rest of us. And so are you guys. So make sure you add Team Space on Twitter if you want to see, just a overall all of your favorite content creators, everything that they do in one place. Make sure you follow Team Space on Twitter.
Yay! #Team Space.
I want to talk for just a second about Team Space. And there are so many content creators, so many addicts that just absolutely love everything about SpaceX and every launch provider. And it's just been so wonderful getting to interact with the community as a whole. And it really is a team that's just we all have a vision of where we want to be in the future, and we're working forward towards that, or at least we're cheering everyone who is working and bringing that content. It's just wonderful to see.
It's so funny. All I hear is your tagline. I'm so excited you get to meet me.
That too. It's great for everybody who gets to meet me.
I'm gonna have to come up with a tagline soon.
Oh my gosh, yes you do.
I don't like to repeat jokes. That's the problem. I just don't reply. I don't repeat jokes very often.
Well,
I'm not saying your intro is a joke, but it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, so it feels like a joke. You know what I mean?
I'm glad to have you happy when you see me. Mauricio, did I hear you saying something about Team Space?
Well, I was going to ask Zach, what is your mission statement for Team Space? I know you kind of mentioned it right now, but I'm not sure if you want to spend the next few minutes talking about that.
Well, originally that Twitter account was supposed to be not really known who started it, but clearly the cat's out the bag. Thanks to me too as well. No, but I like posting my own content where I primarily go through just Starship related stuff, but I also see all my favorite content creators post things that have just still have to do with space, but necessarily don't necessarily have to do with the things that I want my audience to pay attention to. So, my goal was to create an account where I was focusing on everybody who's covering space. So if Jessica Kirsch is live, if Starship Gazer's live, if this show's live,
GPJ's infographic, Max Q's videos, Jeff's music,
Marcus House, Scott Manley, Felix, EDA, Cosmic Perspective, everybody just have all of their promote them all in one place. And on top of that, I think that team space should be more than just a saying. It should be like a real thing, and I think that's what people want to see. So
it is who we are.
It is, yes. And I mean, Mary Liz actually helped come up with that name. Felix is helping us kick that off. Like I said, we already did basically 3 other Twitter Spaces before this, but this is the first one that we're going to do using that account, Team Space Global. So I think there will hopefully be lots of great content coming out from that. And
so that Twitter, that Twitter handle is at Team Space Global, correct?
Yeah, and tell you guys the truth. You guys, I'm gonna give a secret out. I may put. Most of you may know Vix. Well, I call Vix the news lady because she is on top of her game all the time. Like if you follow her on Twitter, you'll see her posting all the coolest stuff from all the other content creators. So I don't know. I think it makes sense for Vix to run the Team Space Global account. We'll see how that works.
Vix for president.
She has to figure out Twitter because she told me she doesn't even know how to read threads. So I'm like, once you figure that out,
she dominates Twitter. Don't let her fool you.
Yeah, she's just lying straight to my face.
She's just modest.
Yeah, thank you, Rocket. I just see that $9.99 donation for the Grandpa Joe Anti-Paparazzi and Groupie Defense Fund. That must be toughy for you. He actually he gets that for free. It's called his wife. So if you want to send that my way, I mean, actually, I don't need it either. I don't really go out a bunch lately. So
it's actually used for that money.
That money and all of my money goes straight to my wife. So it works out perfectly.
Especially for her. Did you see what Drop Bear did?
Oh, Drop Bear, $50 donation. Thank you.
What? Drop Bear.
His weekly fuel money he just donated, gents. That man's not going anywhere for a week.
Oh man, I knew this was going to happen. So Drop Bear, we've been trying to find the perfect time to start the show. So his question was, any chance you can start the live stream a little later for us plebes down under? That's hilarious. No,
no, please.
We've tried to find like a perfect time. Like the first episodes that we did were at 2 p.m. and that basically makes it so it's mostly the U.S. audience, or was that India as well in the morning? India morning audience. And then we decided we were initially going to do it at 8 a.m. U.S. time because we actually do have a lot of people from India who like to tune in, especially on Twitter. So we figured it would be good to like fit them into that time slot. But right now
we're watching out for you.
Yeah, we've currently settled on 12 p.m. because it allows Australia, which would be basically. Oh wait, actually that's super early in the morning for them, huh?
And he's saying he'd like it later, so it's not so good for Australia then.
But then as soon if it's later, then all of a sudden all of Europe is sleeping. You know what I mean? So it's tough. I think we could just
keep talking.
Yeah. Hey, Sam.
The whole time.
Where's everybody watching from? I'm really curious. We've never actually asked anybody. Can you guys put it in the comments?
That's a great question. Yeah. Where's everybody coming in from?
I'm gonna plug my next project here. I'm gonna start doing live streams, but in Spanish.
Ooh.
As you guys know, I'm Hispanic, so
really
anybody? Yes. Really?
With a name like Mauricio, he thought you were French.
And I'm thinking that we talked about it too. We might turn on our our cameras so you can see us. What do you guys think about that?
Wow.
You're a tease.
I didn't agree to that.
I didn't agree to that.
I don't have any cool posters in my room. I'm going to need some people to send me some cool space-related posters if
And
we're going to do stuff like
GPJ
that.
goes live right away. Of course he did. Aren't you guys so
Are you
excited
serious?
you get to meet him?
Oh, did I hit that button? Oh, what does that
Your
even
hand
mean?
slipped.
He went live? I haven't seen it
His
yet.
hand must have slipped.
I'm just in Discord.
Last time I went live on accident and it actually showed up. In
You
the stream.
didn't actually, because I saw the stream and it never went to you.
Okay. Well, I went
So you're
live.
good.
It didn't go live. I think somebody saved me in the background. But
So
yeah,
you're always
we may consider doing something like that in the future where we're just actually, I don't know, put on the four corners of the screen these
Wow.
ugly mugs. But
Have
we'll
you guys
see.
gone through the comments and seen where people are from? New Jersey, Connecticut, Italy, Antarctica. Who's from Antarctica?
That
England,
sounds like
Germany,
a RGV troll. Yeah.
LA.
Spoil sport.
Australia. Wow.
Rob Shaw. Oh, never mind. I thought Rob Shaw said he was from Russia, but it was actually Dennis. I was like, Rob Shaw, you are not from Russia. He's actually
You
from
are the
California.
weakest link.
Rob
Portugal,
Shaw asked what I do for a living, and he knows what I do for a living.
Algeria,
Sneaky guy. Costa Rica,
Toronto.
Algeria,
Okay, we
Australia.
gotta get analytics. I'm gonna
Stephanie
get a
Bolt.
survey together and we're gonna post it in the chat for the next one so we can get an actual
See, look, Australia's awake. Stephanie Bowles
analysis.
here. Welcome, Stephanie.
Scotland.
Thank you for joining us from
Yay, Jeff Allen.
Australia.
All right, some more questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on,
Nope.
what time is it? I think we told the guys we're gonna. Do we have more
What time is
questions?
it? Boca Chica time? 2:41. Boca Chica time. Yes, we have more questions. What would you like to do, Saya?
Oh, run it. What questions
Okay,
do we have?
good. All right. Yeah. Doggone it, I hate not being.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I think we saw the questions in here. We were
I got it.
because we were chatting in there. So
Yeah.
the questions kind
How
of
is the chopstick carriage rigged? And is that a 6-part line or a 5x2 part line?
It's a 5x2 part line, and it is rigged where it goes from the drawworks with 6,000 horsepower motors, 4 of them, so 1,500 each. And it has I want to say 2-inch to 3-inch thick cable that runs from the drawworks through the tower and then down around the pulley, and then finally out to, and it goes 5 times down, 5 times up, and then it goes out to a dead end spool. So it moves
Wow.
a little slowly. It takes about 7 minutes, I believe, or is it 4.5 minutes to go from the bottom all the way to the top?
I thought 4.5.
Maybe 4 minutes, 20 seconds. That seems to ring a bell for some reason. And yeah, from there, it does not move up or down much at all during a catch. And as far as slack goes during a catch, at its maximum extension at the time of a catch, it would only give about 2 to 3 inches at most. So all of the cushioning is going to be provided by the booster slowing itself down, and maybe a little bit of hydraulics on top of the catch arms, and maybe a little bit of give within the catch arms. I mean, each of those is about 100 tons of metal, so it's pretty sturdy. So
Yay for
we'll
big
see.
red balls. Okay. So next question. When do you think the chopsticks will be used for a lift test with test booster?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Now I am targeting about maybe 2 weeks out. It should be ready to do a lift of the booster. It could do it at any moment, but I see enough final commissioning work that it should take about 2 weeks before they even think about testing it. And they may have other priorities ahead of that. They may do the next lift with the crane.
So
if
2
they
weeks
have
is
any
what you're
doubt.
saying is.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
2
it's Crow
weeks.
City for you.
Yes.
All right. You all heard it here. Crow for GB and Crow for GPJ potentially. PA Nielsen asks, can saltwater be used for sound suppression system?
Absolutely
No.
not. Nope.
Oh, how come?
It's
You
corrosive.
Why not?
you do not want corrosive salt, one, in your pipes, two, all over your delicate equipment. It'll clog everything up rather quickly.
Yes, salt in my pipes is no bueno. I'll give you that. Do you
Try
think
not.
that with 2 or more CH4 pumps arriving on site, we'll see 2 more CH4 tanks?
So they should
Yeah.
have 2 more hippos where the
Hippo.
kettle reboilers.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have at least one down at the Macy's gun range down the road from the site. So we should see at least one more kettle, probably 2. And they do have 2 more additional holding tanks for CH4 that are at Sanchez, and they have removed the berm. So all signs point towards yes. But before that happens, they're going to have to lay down a concrete pad, possibly extend a barrier. So I think that as well will take about 2 weeks before we see those tanks arrive.
Wow.
Just
GP, you
the
have any thoughts? Sorry.
I
GPJ,
do not. I like the way he covered it.
please finish your thought, GPJ.
yeah, it's just the process of digging, laying the concrete, curing it, the thickness of the concrete, thickness of the pad. It's not a 1-day job. So all told, it's about 2 weeks, I think, for that as well.
And you think it'll happen exactly at that 2-week mark? Not before.
Thereabouts. Let's see. 2 weeks puts us at what day?
February 1st?
The Windows 11 calendar is doing me wrong here.
That's why Windows 10 is better. So
It
2 weeks from today is February 5th, Saturday, February 5th.
Yes,
So if you're talking the
Saturday,
week-
February 5th. We will
All
go
right.
over a booster 4 lift and the 2 tanks coming out.
I'm going to write this down.
Absolutely.
All right.
You know, as long as we're laying crow out, maybe even a hat. So maybe I'm emotional about it, but I just really love Booster 4 and I love Ship 20. And
Aw.
you know, they have tested it. They're sure it's going to work. Yeah, they have some other items in production, but they're not ready right now, and it's going to take weeks, if not months, to get them ready to go. And at the rate everything's going, I give it an honest, good chance that they're going to launch with Booster 4 and Ship 20. They're ready. They're proven. They've worked through a lot of kinks. Yeah, they might be using them as a test article now, but what better thing to go with for a orbital launch than to have your tried and tested articles that you know are going to work. It's also with a proven engine design that we know works. Many of the engines have already actually flown. So I'm gonna go out on a limb. I know it's not the smart money. It may not be the popular opinion, but I'm gonna say Booster 4 and Ship 20 are gonna be the first to fly. And if Zach disagrees with me, I'm gonna say one of us is gonna have to eat a hat.
A whole hat? Do
No,
I get
just
to pick the hat? Haha.
as
No,
long as it's not a Blue Origin hat.
I think that's a
That's
New
like coming
Zealand
down.
thing. I don't really eat hats. I'll watch you eat a hat, actually.
I watch you eat a hat as well, GPJ.
Tell you what, I'll send you some okra.
Instead of
I'll
that, you want
definitely eat that.
what?
Yep.
How does okra compensate for you eating a hat?
You eat the hat, I'll eat fruitcake. I hate
We
fruitcake.
eat okra every day. That's like not even a fair thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Eat a hat and I'll eat fruitcake because I hate fruitcake.
There we go.
You are a fruitcake.
It's a deal. Indian style with the fire.
Wowzers. All right, well, I think we better wrap it up here. I think we want to give some shout outs to our production crew before we
Real fast. Paul, the answer to your question is yes, we're having a great deal of fun. And then last question, they want to know what you guys think, which ship, which booster, and when will the launch happen?
24/7 April.
GPJ?
Go with 420, and I'm going to say mid-March.
Mauricio?
Same as Zach. I was going to touch base on that too. If the FAA had not, if there was any delays with the FAA approval on this. Let's assume they would have gotten the approval about a month ago. Do you think SpaceX would have, hit things in overdrive and had everything ready to go right
Nope,
now?
definitely not. Not a chance.
Yeah, they would have gone faster and they would have been ready to launch sooner, but not yet. It's just so much. This is, I hate to use the word, but this is really complicated. I mean, there's a lot going on here. I don't know if everybody realizes that, but this is
They're
really a
building a
lot.
starship.
I'm gonna start a rumor, and the only way this rumor is gonna get settled is if Elon comes to tell us. I think the day after he said, "Oh, we're going orbital in July," his engineers came to him and said, like, "Yo, like, you realize that we can't even use the methane tanks, right?" And
They
that was the
said
beginning. That was the
2022,
beginning.
right?
That was the beginning of all of the delays that we've seen. Was him coming out and saying we're going orbital in July, and they realized that they
And he
just
said
can't
that
do it
last
with their
year.
setup. Yeah, I think that was the start. Was that day? But like I said, it's just a rumor. You can spread it if you want. You don't have to.
Well, that's what rumors are supposed to be
Yeah,
done with, right? Spread.
yeah, that's fine.
Anywho,
I don't mind it. You
my
can attach my name as well, so he knows who to contact.
oh, GB told you to say this.
And we've already invited him to the show next week, so if he shows up, then he does. If not, then we continue making rumors. So, all right, guys.
Wait. My
Okay.
prediction: 7/24. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
We
You're right.
also need to be
Oh,
sure
in
to
July.
be ready. We need to be ready with the new banner at the bottom to add an Elon Musk, just in case he shows up.
Because none of us know his Twitter address.
Yeah, just in case, he wants to let everybody know who he is and who's on the stream,
I personally don't follow him, so it would be helpful for me. Like, I don't follow people who don't follow me. So
Oh,
Hey.
the only reason I find out what Elon tweets is because other people send it to me.
so then GPJ and you don't know what each other say about each other because you don't follow each other.
No, we follow each other. Basically the same person almost. Anyways.
Pretty much.
Totally different.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready. I have to use the restroom, so that's why I'm like trying to rush this. Like,
All
I
right.
want to
With
thank
that
the
said,
production team. I want to get you guys to come visit us on Twitter tomorrow, but I think we should do the proper sign off. So, Indian Star,
Yes.
you want to
Oh.
thank the production team and kind of run through that whole list?
Sure. Jax, Hoppy, Techno Dino, you, GPJ, of course, the one and only Mauricio,
Who is you?
Jeff. Who's you?
Yeah,
You
who's
is
you?
GB. Oh, sorry, you GB. My bad.
Oh,
Because
I
I
was
thought
like,
you
we
were
got a
talking to me,
you?
so I was talking back to you.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought we just
my
got
bad.
like a South Korean like friend.
Why you gotta be like that?
I was excited. We're
Oh
global.
my goodness.
It's Team Space Global. I thought we went South Korean.
We did.
Got me all excited for
International, baby. And then special thanks to David Preston, who donated $10. And Rocket. Thanks, Rocket. And thank you all. We appreciate you guys listening in.
and
We're out when
cut
you're out.
off. Stage separation confirmed. We're out.
Ooh, does that mean we're Seiko or Miko?
Miko.